Being a British guy in 2015 is not easy. 21st century pressures are changing.
No way.
The way we live.
Women are seen as superior to men.
The way we love.
If you are a Muslim, you cannot be gay. That's as simple as that.
Even the way we look.
That's silicone.
Yeah.
This is mental.
In this series, I'm traveling to the extreme edge of modern British masculinity.
I mean, what's your body gonna be like at 30?
I'd be lucky to get that.
If you know that, then what are you doing?
In an era of gay rights, marriage, even parenthood, some Brits still struggle to accept homosexuality.
A woman and a woman, and a man and a man, I just don't believe that.
The male, the female, even the animals, they are like this.
And some call being gay a decision, a bad decision.
I'm sorry to cut you, but you're comparing homosexuality to stealing and
I'm not equating. I'm not equating.
I know, but you're comparing.
But for those who feel they have no choice, the effects can be devastating.
He kicked my bedroom door open. He was like, I want you out of my house by midnight. And we didn't speak for 3 years.
Leaving gay men under attack from their own community.
Sometimes I love bottles thrown at my head. I love people saying, oh, you fatty man, go die.
And even their own family.
My own mother said to me, if you murdered someone, I'd still accept you. But you being gay, I can't accept you for that.
Gay marriage became legal in Britain in 2014, but in some Black and Asian communities, homosexuality itself remains taboo. South London has the largest population of Black men in the UK. And it's my home, so it seems like a good place to start.
I'm going to meet a guy called Max today in his barber shop. Now, if you've ever actually been to a Black barber's, you'll know that it's the best place for debate, it's the best place for shit-talking, and talking about something like homosexuality in a Black barber's, for me, will stir up some real honest answers and potentially start a conversation that I've never had or heard in a place like this. Max?
Hey.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Max's parents are from West Africa, just like mine.
What age would you say you realised that you were actually a gay man?
To be honest, I guess deep down I always knew in the back of my mind, but it wasn't up until the age of 18 that I accepted it within myself. One day I kind of just, I don't know what the trigger was. I just kind of woke up and I was like, yeah, this isn't working for me. Like, I'm gay.
Yeah. How long did it take you to go from that realisation to actually approaching that conversation with your father?
Well, I didn't actually have that conversation with my father.
You didn't?
No.
Right.
One day, the pastor of the church came up to me and she asked me if I was gay. And at this point in time, my philosophy was like, I'm not going to tell people, but if somebody asks me, I'm not going to deny it. And I said, yeah. And then she asked me if my dad knew.
Yeah.
And I said, I haven't told him yet. And at the end of the conversation, she said to me, if you don't tell him, I will.
So what, she went on to tell him off the back of you not taking that week to tell him? And how did he react?
It wasn't great. He kicked my bedroom door open, gave me this long 10-minute lecture, and he was like, I want you out of my house by midnight. And we didn't speak for 3 years.
Max tells me they now talk just 2 to 3 times a year.
It's fair to say my father doesn't know who I am right now.
Yeah. Based on your experience, what would you say is most commonplace when it comes to West African parents and how parents react to that news?
Do you know, I think a lot of people from Africa are very religious.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it starts.
Excuse me, auntie, where are you from?
I'm part Liberia, Sierra Leone.
Okay, and how long have you been in the UK?
16 years.
16 years, right, okay, now that's your little boy who's getting his hair cut, right?
Yeah.
What is your attitude towards homosexuality? For instance, if your son came out as gay, how do you think you'd react?
It's quite hard because African people, like you said, something that is a cultural thing. First and foremost, I will ask my son, why? Because for us, to be quite honest, they think it's a big, big taboo for them. It will be so, so hard, even for me, because in the first place, I don't even get it. Gay, I don't even get it.
Excuse me, brother. It's fairly obvious what your religious beliefs are, but culturally, I'm really interested in your point of view. First of all, where are your family from? What's your background?
Well, my parents are from St. Lucia.
You're West Indian?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
West Indian.
Were they born there and came over?
Yeah.
And you were born here, I take it?
I was born here, yeah.
And how old are you now?
I'm 30 now.
You're 30 years old. What are your views on homosexuality?
You to your way, me to my way, but me, I don't agree with this one. A lot of good comes from men and women, you know, like being together, brother, you understand? Not to put it like this way, but even the animals, they are like this, you understand? Like the male, the female, even the plants are like this, you know?
What would you do if your daughter actually came home and told you that she was homosexual?
I mean, to begin with, I'd be heartbroken. To begin with, I'd be heartbroken, personally. I would have the hope maybe it's a phase, it's something, and...
Does that mean that you believe that homosexuality is something that a person chooses?
People are choosing to become homosexual.
What would you say to that?
I think it's almost, and no offense to you, but it's probably the most ridiculous thing anyone can say, that someone would choose to be gay. If you look at the world we live in, being gay isn't like it's never been a good thing. It's never been something easy to do. So why would anyone at any age wake up one day and say, do you know what, I want to be a homosexual so that the people in the street can throw rocks at me and so that I could be rejected by my family?
I don't know, because obviously you could be with a woman, that relationship may not have worked out. Maybe she done your head in, maybe this, you know, like she was, you know, she was a bad woman, she oppressed you, you know, she made you feel low, all this stuff. But there's many out here. There's many out here. The good one may have come after this one.
Do you think that your versions of happiness can exist side by side?
I think so. It's like if you go to a restaurant with somebody and one person wants to order pizza, but the other person wants to have chips. What will make one person happy is the chips. What will make another person happy is the pizza. We can sit at the same table and we can eat.
We can probably be in the same restaurant, but he will have his table there, and he will be, you know, doing his thing on his table there, and I will be on my table over there.
I've always sort of said that the attitudes towards the LGBT community in the Afro-Caribbean community are massively different based on generation. In talking to Ibrahim, I realised that it's not necessarily the case for everyone. You know, Ibrahim is only a couple of years younger than me, and his mindset couldn't be any more different, even though he was born and raised here.
It's hard to ignore religion in any discussion on homosexuality, especially among black communities in the UK. 7 out of 10 black Britons come from Christian homes, and over a quarter of all churchgoers in London are black. Until the age of 9, I was one of them.
My very faint memories of going to church were Pentecostal. So, you know, it was lots of singing, lots of dancing. There were a lot of people catching the Holy Ghost. I'll never forget Auntie Linda catching the Holy Ghost and breaking a chair. That was a good time. We're going to a Seventh-day Adventist church, which I've never been to before. So I don't actually know what to expect.
Seventh-day Adventist followers believe in a literal interpretation of the Bible. And they practice what they preach. No smoking, no alcohol, and no gambling. But does that list include being gay?
How you doing, sir? How you doing? You all right? I'm here to meet Pastor Michael B. Is that him there? Is that his picture? Ah, let's see. What's your name, sorry?
Alan.
Pardon, what? Alan. Alan, nice. What are you handing out here? You didn't give me one.
Oh, sorry.
Why didn't I get one, Alan?
Because he was talking to us. Oh, here he is.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Pastor B.
Pastor Michael.
Michael B. How you doing? I'm
Michael
Reggie.
Mbui.
Michael Mbui.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us down at your church today.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When are you going to be up and?
I'm not preaching
and talking
today.
Are
Today
you
I'm
not?
just supervisor. Yeah, the young people are doing the program today.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
Pastor Michael has a young team that he's training up. The man leading today's service is Pastor Andrew.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you. Just out of interest, how old are you? You look quite young.
27.
27?
Yeah.
And you're going to be up there running things today?
Nah, not running things, but just giving a little humble word, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how long have you been doing this then? How long have you been preaching?
To be honest, I've been preaching since I was 16 years old. I left the church and I came back, you know.
When you say you left the church, what does that mean?
Like in the sense when you're growing up in church, and even though I come here one day a week, during the week I was, you know, otherwise occupied with other things. So in the sense, you know, girls, you know, money, drugs, like you name it. Living in an area in London, it's almost impossible not to get involved in them things.
We need to get the money.
Yeah,
So
no problem.
We need the preacher in here for
Mate, a preacher that can talk a lot is a good thing, surely. That's what you want, isn't it? Nice to meet you both. There is quite a lot of young people here. There's quite a lot of people under the age of 25 here, and I imagine that he's probably a big part of that.
My sermons are not, this is just me, like it or leave it. I'm an honest person. I'm breaking it down. The world are seeing God how we present him. People outside, the only God they see is you. And if we show them that God is like this, you can't do this and you can't do that, and look at you, you're going to hell. If we show them that that is what God is like, then they're not going to want, don't miss this now, they're not going to want to come to the place where God is. And now God gets the blame for our misrepresentation of him.
Andrew isn't what I was expecting. He doesn't talk like the pastors I remember and feels like a typical young guy from South London. And the theme of his sermon, tolerance and acceptance.
Because I, Andrew Aaron Asher Fuller, if you didn't know my name, that's my name. And me, I'm being honest, I have fallen so far from grace many a times in my life that I can't come to you and look down on you.
Pastor Andrew was amazing, wasn't he? I don't think I've ever seen a pastor that young speak to a congregation this mixed, and he spoke to parents in a way that I've been speaking to my mum for years. And I think it really resonated with people here. It's pretty much done now. Service is over, people are leaving, and Pastor Andrew is shaking everyone's hand. So I'm going to get my hand shaken and maybe have a chat with him too.
But everyone wants to shake Andrew's hand. So I grabbed the chance to have a quick word with the head pastor over lunch.
Hello, hello. I've been told to come for some lunch. What do we have today? This looks amazing. Have I the first person to come up? Has no one eaten yet?
It's all right. You can
no, I can't be that guy.
It's all right.
See, why would you send me there first? The whole room's hungry and you send me up there and I'm like, yeah, where's my plate?
We're going to sit down and then we want to have some soup first.
Right,
okay. Get some soup for us.
Okay, got it. If your daughter, for instance, were to come out, would you still have a relationship with her, do you think?
You see, in terms, I think in the home setting, we have a clear understanding of what is acceptable. I may be able to point out to you, you are my child, I love you. But if they were to choose that lifestyle, then they wouldn't be able to live with us. You see, membership of the church is a privilege, not a right. When you become a member of the church, you are committing to a particular way of life that is informed by Scripture. If you, along the way, choose to live a life different from that, you can't be part of an Adventist faith community.
So far, so traditional. But Pastor Michael is from an older generation and moved here from Kenya. Maybe the younger Pastor Andrew, who was born and raised in London like me, thinks like I do.
Something that gets sort of whispered about in church, in my limited experience, and definitely in talking to religious friends that I have now, is attitude towards sex.
Yeah.
And issues like homosexuality. What do you believe?
So I don't believe this, and this is saying that as blunt as possible, I believe we have to go to marriage. You know, I sincerely believe, you know, I've been
Heterosexual, because gay people can get married now.
and that's my point. The truth of the matter is, my sincere belief is that when I have a woman and a man and a man, no hatred, no animosity, but I just don't believe that mother and father are vital in society.
So it's the traditional family setup that
Yeah,
you
I
believe in?
strongly believe that. You know, with all my heart, this is not half, no, I strongly believe that.
Acceptance in this church, at least, only seems to go so far. The delivery might be different, but fundamentally, Andrew believes the same as his elders.
There's almost a slim to naught chance of you being accepted by the church if when you come to a church and your pastor is cool, he's got this pretty edgy, crazy background, he's in his 20s, and even he can't get past that point.
It's estimated that 1 in 10 people are gay in the UK, and 1 in 300 are transgender, the T in LGBT. So if it's tough being black and gay, I can't help wondering what it must be like to be black and trans. I'm on my way to Burton-on-Trent to find out.
I've never actually met a transgender person before, and I'm really looking forward to meeting Tallulah and hearing her story, because, I mean, we're not exactly in the biggest of towns and in the biggest of cities, which instantly throws up its own issues, but as well as that, the fact that she's of mixed race and the fact her father is of Caribbean descent, I'm really keen to be educated on what her life is actually like. Hello. Hey.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm good,
Tallulah,
thank you.
nice to meet you.
You too.
Tallulah's parents separated when she was 3, so she lives with her mum and Grandma Glenys, who is still coming to terms with a new granddaughter.
Nice to meet you, Glenys. Reggie. How is it having Tallulah as a house guest then?
Oh, he's all right. She's all right, I should say.
She still can't get to grips with
I was going to say.
pronouns
It's
and
very,
everything.
very hard to what you got to do.
Yeah.
Just get used to
Yeah,
the
getting used to
pronouns and
calling
everything.
him, you know, Tallulah.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to ignore the fact that there is the entirety of your youth on this little shelf over
my
here.
grandma was obsessed with me as a boy. I was about 15, I think, and that was literally just before I came out at school about at the time, the sexuality I was. So that's them two photos. That one was
Sexuality you was?
Yeah, because when I was at high school, I didn't really have a choice other than to come out as gay, because there was no kind of education as to what being transgender was about, so nobody understood it. So my only option was to come out as gay because I was so feminine, so I had to come out as gay just so people would get off my back.
Right. But at that point, you were attracted to girls? Or to guys?
No, I've always been, in my head, a straight woman, but to everyone else at the time, because I was attracted to guys, everyone was just like, well, you must be gay. It was after I left school that I came out as transgender and started living as a woman. This is how I came out about being...
Just in a
living my
national
life as a
newspaper.
woman, yeah. So this is it. There's me.
All right, what tea you got? Can I get a brew on?
A brew, yeah.
See, this is a massive indicator of how good a host you are, how good your brew is.
I think I'm quite a good host.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Apparently Libras are, because I'm a Libra.
So what were you called before?
I was called Aaron before.
Aaron.
There we go.
Don't be shy. Moment of truth, no pressure. That's a 7.5 out of 10.
It's 7.5? No.
It's disgusted.
I think it's a 10. It's a really good 10.
I'll give you an 8. I'll
It
nudge
may
it to
just
an
be
8.
the water around here. You're not used to it.
Where are we headed?
To the garden.
Now that we're away from her nan, there's one question I've been dying to ask Tallulah.
Not to be massively intrusive, but you say that you haven't had your boobs done, but you seem fairly together in that area.
Yeah.
So
I'm on
what
hormones
do you
at
do?
the minute. I'm on hormones. My boobs are probably about an A, but I wear like a C bra and then stuff it with these sticky chicken fillet things.
Right.
But yeah, it gives me quite a realistic bosom, I think.
Yeah. So what kind of guys do you date now?
Like, I always end up getting with white guys, but I always get approached more by black guys. So they'll say to me, oh, I'd go there with you in 4 years' time once you've had surgery, but I won't go with you now because you've got a dick. That kind of thing.
Is there a big black community here?
I wouldn't say there's a big black community in Burton, but there is a black community, and it's quite a hard thing for them to get their head around. It's very taboo, isn't it?
On the drive up here, I realised just how Asian this area is.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Muslims and a lot of Sikh people. I mean, how do they react to you?
Not very well, to be fair. Like, I do get quite a lot of death threats from the Asian community.
How do those death threats come? Are they to your face, through the door?
Oh, yeah, to my face down the street. I'll be walking down the street sometimes, I'll have bottles thrown at my head. I'll have people saying, oh, you fucking batty man, go die. Literally saying everything that you could think of to try and get a reaction out of me. And I just didn't give in.
Why did you choose not to react to that?
Just because I'd probably get beaten up if I was to react to it. Yeah. And I can't really afford to have my face being broken.
I'm not totally surprised Tallulah has had grief from some in the local Asian community. Some Muslims struggle to accept gay people, let alone transsexual ones. Few are willing to talk about it on camera, but there is one online, and it turns out that he's gay himself.
Homosexuality is okay and is not wrong. You can't change your sexuality no matter what you do.
The man in the video is Sahil Ahmed, a 23-year-old student from East London. Maybe he can shed some light on how his fellow Muslims view gay people.
Have you always been in this bit of town? Did you grow up around here?
No, I didn't grow up around here. I grew up in Waltham Forest. Okay. So I moved here a year ago. Basically since I moved out of my parents' house and stuff.
At what age did you realise that you were gay?
Well, I mean, the age I realised I was gay was literally last year. Age of 22. So that's when I actually came out to myself.
Yeah.
And the reason why it took so long is because my religion taught me that being gay is not a thing.
Yeah.
I was pretty much born into actually a very kind of strict form of Islam. You know, I was basically brought up believing that the West is, the enemy, that the UK is at war with Islam.
Even though you were living in the UK?
Yeah, even though I was born here and I was living here. Yeah. And I was just basically all the non-Muslims are the enemy and that they want to destroy Islam. And I really believed that.
At your most extreme point, what would your view on homosexuality have been?
Well, my view would have been that it's disgusting, it's evil, and what you do to gay people is that you throw them off a tall building and you stone them to death. And I also kind of believed that I deserved being gay as a punishment from God because I'd done something evil in my life.
Wow. All right, I'll be your basket man.
Yes, thank you.
You get what you need.
Yeah.
Sahil no longer practices his religion. Fridays used to be prayer day, but today he's having friends over instead.
I think cookies are a good idea,
You want cookies?
right?
Cool,
Yeah.
go for it. There you go.
He's forced to keep the location of his student flat a secret from his family. Coming out was just the beginning of his ordeal.
What was it that made you decide to leave home?
Basically, when my parents realized I was gay,
did they realize or did you tell them?
The way they'd found out is that they'd using the router, they checked my internet history, and then when they checked that, he's into other guys, and then
conclusively.
Yeah, conclusive. So then basically they called me back home and my dad basically said, I know the secret that you've been keeping from us. That was the most dreadful, fear-inducing moment in my life. He's my dad, but he believes that gay people should be killed. They should be stoned to death.
Including his own son?
Including me, yeah. In the Pakistani community, and there's a very strong shame factor. There's the whole thing about honor. So for example, my own mother said to me, if you murdered someone, I'd still accept you. But you being gay, I can't accept you for that. I can't accept that.
Was there ever a conversation about curing your homosexuality? Did that ever happen?
Oh yeah, that was actually the main reason why I ended up leaving the house. They basically said, the only way you can stay in this house is if you agree to be exorcised, to get the demons out of you. Because they were convinced that the reason why I'm gay and the reason why I was doubting religion was because I was possessed. And for the next 2 months, they would recite the Quran over me, make me bathe in holy water. At one point, I almost took my own life in my room. That was when I decided, you know what, I can't stay in this house because if I stay here, I'm probably not going to be around for much longer.
Sorry, they were out of champagne.
Oh yeah.
So we got orange
Jeez.
juice. How does that work for you guys?
Sahil moved into student accommodation. He hasn't spoken to his family for over a year.
How important has this circle of friends become to you?
The reason why I'm here actually, like alive, is because of my friends. And if it wasn't for them, then I don't know where I'd be.
But Sahil's past still haunts his future.
Having sex right now is a bridge too far for me. Like, I would be okay with like a kind of like a romantic relationship with another guy. But having sex is something that kind of, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go into that. If I see two guys together kissing or something, like I'll have like this emotional kind of immediate like homophobia. It's been so deeply indoctrinated in me since childhood that it's hard for me to kind of weed that out and get rid of that and shake that kind of thinking off.
I think the most surreal thing about Sahil's story is that it actually happened here in London. I'm flabbergasted that someone is having to go through an exorcism because their parents are disgusted by their nature, by the fact that they're actually a homosexual person. He's now alone. He no longer has a connection to his family, and you know, the thing that seems most painful for him is losing that relationship with his mother and his younger siblings. That's just really sad. All down to the fact that he is being himself.
Islam is the fastest growing religion in the UK. There are now over 1.5 million Muslims under the age of 25. With numbers like that, it's hard to ignore the influence imams can have on young minds like Sahil's. We contacted over 200 mosques to find someone to speak with me on camera. And in the end, only one imam agreed. Mohammed is 29 and from Edinburgh, but he's having to meet me independently without the support of his mosque.
So Mohammed, what are your beliefs when it comes to homosexuality?
My beliefs are the same beliefs that my religions have. When it comes to these issues, obviously you go back to the sources that you have and you try to find your answers in it.
Okay, so what would your answer be?
I personally believe that it's an unnatural manifestation of a natural desire. In Islam, we are told that this is not something that can become a feeling. This is something that is unnatural. And if it's something that is in you, then you can tackle it, you can deal with it.
What would you say the general attitude in your mosque is towards homosexuality?
Honestly speaking, people don't speak about it. I've received some anonymous emails. They never mention their name, probably out of shyness.
So you've had somebody at your mosque approach you about their own homosexual feelings. What was your reaction to that?
If he really trusts Allah, if in his heart he has a feeling for Allah which is more stronger than any other feeling, then I will for sure tell him that as a man, as a straight man, I personally feel that I am attracted to every single beautiful woman. I have this urge, but just because of this urge, is it justified for me to go after every single beautiful woman that I find attractive? You know the people who are kleptomaniac, they have the urge to steal.
So you think it's an urge?
I don't believe it's an urge, but it's something that he can control. In the month of fasting, for example, especially in the UK, for 21 hours you're not eating. And in the beginning you have struggles, you're struggling, but at the end of the month you find it very normal.
I'm sorry to cut you, but you're comparing something like homosexuality to stealing and
I'm not equating it. I'm not equating it.
I know, but you're comparing. You're comparing them to stealing and to the urge to eat.
I'm talking about the physical things.
So what would you do then if your son came home and told you, Dad, I've not been able to tell you this before, but I believe that I'm actually gay? How would you react to that?
Either if he is confused, he should try, and he should see that if he can find peace and comfort or love in a woman. If he can't, then I will tell him that the only option that he has is to live a celibate life if he can.
Scripture is one thing, but real life is another. And I think if you're living in the real world, you have to question some of the things that you're not only taught, but some of the things that have been left behind for you to learn from.
But Mohammed's views are in line with all major Islamic organizations in Britain. And on these streets, some interpret those views in extreme ways. This is Whitechapel in East London.
We're making a program for the BBC on attitudes towards homosexuality. Are you happy to chat about it on camera?
No.
Why not?
No, not on camera, man.
Why is that?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, definitely. It's a major sin as far as Islam is concerned, but it doesn't take you out of the fold of Islam. So technically speaking, yes, you can be gay and be Muslim. What everyone does in their private homes, it's up to them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to judge.
Can you be gay and Muslim?
I don't think so. Because if you're following a religion, you need to follow everything in that religion. If you are a Muslim, you cannot be gay. If you are gay, you cannot be Muslim. That's as simple as that.
Being a Muslim, you can't be a gay or lesbian. If you can't follow a very tiny rule, then you are not in the religion.
Have you got a couple minutes to chat to me on camera? No? Hello, mate, you got a couple minutes?
I've heard some signs of tolerance on the street.
Excuse me, sir, have you got 2 minutes to just chat to me on camera? No?
But the Imam's line does seem to hold true for some Muslims, as the rest of Britain moves towards a greater acceptance of homosexuality. In 2007, less than half of the UK population backed gay marriage. Now, 60% are in favour. But support remains lowest among Asian and black men. And I don't think the reasons are just religious.
It's really funny thinking about the relationship between music and culture, because they sort of blur, definitely in my experience anyway. And when it comes to the idea of misogyny and homophobia, particularly in black music, I don't know, I sort of get quite, I don't know, I get a little funny talking about it, because whether I like it or not, the music that I love, definitely in bits of my past, has reflected a view that makes me uncomfortable, if I'm totally honest.
Growing up around these attitudes and these hit songs, it's not hard to see why so few black men come out in public. But Max, who I met at the Barbers, has promised to show me where some young gay people do feel free to be themselves.
Spartan Max. Hey. Can we talk about the hat?
Yeah, sure.
What's the deal with the hat? What happens when the mask comes on?
Well, that remains to be seen.
Oh, wow, okay. I mean, what can you tell me about a night like tonight? You've invited me down. What is this? Where are we?
Well, we are at Urban World Pride. Events like this are special and important for young gay and lesbian people that are coming out, simply because when they're at home, they may not necessarily feel comfortable letting their family or their friends know that they are gay, which effectively means that they have to hide who they really are. But when they come here, they can almost find a surrogate family that will accept you for who you are, because we're all the same, you know?
Enough talking, time to see things for myself.
I've been here 1,000,001 times, but never under these circumstances. It's so crazy. See, guys.
It's unbelievable to witness this parallel world.
There's guys daggering guys in there. If you know what daggering is, I mean, you can put that together yourselves, even if you don't know what it is. There are guys daggering guys in there. That doesn't happen. Well, clearly it does. It didn't happen in my world until today. I mean, there's a Desi room up there. There is a room full of Asian men who I can't even get close to right now with the camera because they just don't want to be seen. And the reason that they don't want to be on camera is fairly obvious. There is so much paranoia. I mean, we've had to come here because literally whenever we pull the camera out, people are running in different directions.
I'm about to do the thing that I hate people doing to me most, and that's talking to you while you're mixing. Sorry. I'm used to it. It's Mark, right? Yeah, Mark. Reggie, nice to meet you, man. And when it comes to our parents' generation, homophobia was pretty much commonplace, and things are changing for the better, but there still is that weird energy towards homosexuality. And to be really honest with you, as a fan of black music, it is reflected in the music. It's there. It's hard to ignore. And you're playing black music all night. So how do those two worlds sort of go together?
I think for me personally, I grew up with reggae, bashment, dancehall. So whether I was gay or not, it's part of my culture. I've grown up to those music. So take away the words, the music, the energy I get from the beats, I couldn't deny it. Do you get what I mean? So I'm not going to let things like step on Chichi Man or any of those kind of lyrics really bother me. I'm there to dance. I don't care what they're talking about. I know that certain people do have a problem with it, but I find it's more the white community that has problems with the words of the bashment rather than...
It's not just bashment, don't get me wrong. Hip-hop can be homophobic, dancehall can be homophobic, but like you said, it's a culture that we've grown up with.
Yeah, I've grown up with that music.
Does that make it okay?
It doesn't make it okay, but there's a lot of things in the world that aren't necessarily okay, but...
So you'll overlook it, you're saying?
I'll overlook it.
Right, what do you think the reaction would be then if you played Elephant Man log on in a club like this?
They'll all start logging on.
They'd do the dance?
Yeah.
And would they ignore the step on Chichi Man bit, or would they actually do that?
It's like sticks and stones will break your bones, like that kind of situation.
It feels like Mark is trying to reclaim these songs. I'm struggling to find other gay men who will speak with me on camera. But Nicole, a 21-year-old lesbian with a Jamaican dad, agrees.
Thank you for finding the time to chat to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you
so much. No, it's all good. Thanks. So, do you think it's easier to be a gay girl or a gay guy in London?
I say it's hard to be a black gay man. I mean, according to my dad, it's immoral, it's wrong. He sees it as if everybody in our generation is going to accept people being gay, then our generation, when we have kids, they're going to come back to us and tell you that we're sleeping with donkeys and we must accept it. In Jamaica, they see homosexuality as the white man's disease. The way I've been brought up, it still has an effect on my mind at times. I mean, as much as I'm gay, I don't like to personally hear about two gay guys in their sex life. Like, for me, it doesn't feel right. But then I feel bad because I'm gay myself. How can I be prejudiced with somebody else that's gay?
Can you understand how for someone like myself that sounds absolutely mental? Because I'm sure the last thing that you want is for anyone to judge you or be prejudiced towards you.
Of course, exactly.
But it almost seems as though it's ingrained within you towards gay guys.
It feels like that, and because I notice it, I feel so bad for it, but I can't help the way I think. I can help the way I act on it, but I can't help the way I think.
Nicole is trying to deal with her own homophobia, and she won't let it stop her coming to nights like this. They're just too important.
When I first came out, I didn't know that there were so many black gay people in London. I thought the majority of them were in Soho, the majority of them were in the white community. But I came out and I came to a night like this and the whole club was full of pure black people and the majority of them were all gay. I was amazed.
There is a bubble around that venue that people are walking into and it's safe. It's weird, like it's a bittersweet sort of thing. You come out of a night like tonight feeling really positive that there is somewhere for young black men to go. But at the same time, you think, wow, there are a lot of people in 2016 who are still scared to be seen being who they truly are on camera.
But one person who isn't afraid to be out is Tallulah. And she's keen for me to meet her dad. But first, hair.
I think that one there. This one?
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Oh my god.
See?
Look at me. That's not too bad actually, does it?
Spice up your life.
Yeah, a Victoria Beckham. But it would definitely show all of my Adam's apple. Like sometimes with my wigs, I get them really big and long so that I can kind of like disguise it from the side. Do you know what I mean?
When you are shopping in here and you do see other black women, I mean, how do they react to you?
They just stare a lot, they just look a lot, and then they'll just whisper amongst themselves. Be like, oh my God, that's a man. They'll be like, oh my God, really? No, it's not. And then they'll be like, yeah, look at her throat. And then they'll be like, listen, listen, listen. And then that's the kind of whispering it is.
How far away from being who you want to be do you think you really are?
I'm a long way, because I've only just started my transition. So it's like 4 years on the waiting list, unless I can get 12.5 grand together to have my vaginoplasty and 5 grand to have my boobs and 2.5 grand to get this done, then I'm a very long way.
Tallulah is confident no one will be able to tell she once was a man when all the surgery is done, including a vaginoplasty.
It looks so good how they do it. Like, it literally looks like a normal vagina, and Yeah, but the recovery is really long. It's about 6 months in recovery. You have to sleep with a dildo inside you for 6 months as well. Yeah, to stop it from healing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Surely there's another way of doing that.
No, there's no other way. Otherwise, it's just going to heal back together, isn't it? Because it's man-made. It's like a scar or a cut or a wound.
A long time.
But,
some people will probably be into that.
Yeah, at least it'll be quite deep.
Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not built. I'm not mature enough to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Tallulah's dad, Simon, has flitted in and out of her life. He lives in nearby Derby with his new partner.
How are you?
You alright?
Who's alright?
How you doing?
You good?
Reggie, yeah, nice to meet you.
Hello, you okay?
Simon, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
How you doing? You alright?
Yeah,
You okay? How are you?
Hello, Reggie, nice to meet you. How you doing? What's your name? Simon, Tallulah was just telling me that you haven't seen each other in a long time.
Yeah. Looks fucking good, doesn't she? Yeah. Do you want to come through?
Yeah, please.
Simon has spent the last 4 years behind bars.
So, did you find out when you were actually inside?
I'm sitting there reading the newspaper, and a guy was commenting, he's like, flipping out, goes, look at these, looks real, who's not real in that, yeah? So he was just looking, and every single person was like, nah, she's a real woman. That, no, he may, he's got a bit of a chin and whatever, you know what I mean? So I looked, and I just went, that's my kid. He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's my kid. I thought to myself, I wonder if it's my fault for not being there.
See, everyone sees it as a fault, don't they?
No.
Everyone
I'm
thinks
on my
it's
behalf.
parenting
I was
gone
looking at it
wrong.
in a way where thinking to myself, I wonder if that's because I wasn't around much. So she's grown up around her mum, April.
Yeah.
She's grown up around a lot of women, and I'm just thinking to myself, maybe if I was there more, would she have wanted to be more of a masculine person?
And do you still think that way now?
No, not at all.
I'm really surprised at your reaction.
What it is my parents are like old-fashioned Jamaican, Christian background, Christian beliefs. So that's the beliefs that I was brought up with. But because I grew up in like areas which is predominantly white, like I was in boarding school, and there's only 2 black people ever been to that school ever.
So you know how it feels to be different.
So yeah, so to be segregated and to be treated different from other people, I understand that as well.
Yeah.
You know, it all rolls into one. That sort of helped me understand why she's the way she is. At the end of the day, what it boils down to is how a person feels comfortable.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I mean, she's my blood, so...
Were you surprised at your dad's reaction?
I was, because I've been judged so much by the black community as it was. I thought, well, my dad's just going to be another one.
Simon, thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem.
It's been a real pleasure meeting you, and thank you for having me in your home. And look, best of luck with everything. Hopefully get to see you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Come to Pride on the 12th, which is in Derby.
There's a Derby Pride?
Yeah.
It's a date. I will see you then.
Yeah, definitely.
Lovely to see you. Thanks again, all right?
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Tallulah's dad really surprised me today, given his history and their distant relationship. There is nothing stereotypical about Simon's views. I never thought he would be so accepting. And so, I can't help but think about Sahil, who I met at the start of my journey. He too is still coming to terms with his sexuality, but he's doing it alone, without his mum or dad. So I'm inviting him to join me at Pride next week. Let's hope there are no Muslim anti-gay protesters there, as it wouldn't be the first time. Just doing a teeny bit of research, there hasn't actually been a march as part of Derby Pride in quite a few years, because the last time a march happened in 2012, people were arrested. There were people protesting, there was hate speech. Some actually held placards which had things written on them such as homosexuality equals freedom gone too far, homosexuality equals a crime against God, and Islam is the ultimate truth. Things such as scum were screamed, gays will go to hell, which just sounds ridiculous to me. I mean, here we go, look, gays, 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 we hope you die of AIDS. To think that grown men were actually chanting this and thought that it was acceptable, to me is mind-blowing. This is happening in the UK, not 30 years ago, 3 years ago. one of the Muslim protesters was successfully prosecuted for using abusive language. I'm on my way to Derby to attend my first ever gay pride with Tallulah, and I really hope that Sahil shows up.
No, I desperately want Sahil to come today because I think him being one of many, being part of the majority, and not feeling different would be an incredible thing for somebody like him who's only been out a year. But he's just not taking my calls. I suddenly feel like a really annoying, angry girlfriend chasing someone down. So the chances are he's changed his mind about coming. How's that for timing? How are you?
Hello, you okay?
You look great.
Thank you. But I thought I'd make a bit of an effort.
Yeah?
With it being my hometown pride.
Exactly. This will actually be my my first ever pride, and I'm sort of looking around because I was expecting to see a little bit more sort of celebration.
We're not in town just yet.
Right.
But when we get into town, you'll probably see it all more.
Yeah.
I might have to walk down here first to get down there.
It is today, isn't it? It's definitely today, right?
Oh, well, it should be. It's this way.
So, this is it. We're here, right?
Yeah, this is it. This is the
It's not massive,
tiny community in Derby.
Right. This isn't what I was expecting at all. One thing I was expecting was to be here with Sahil and to see this through his fresh eyes as well. But he's not here. He still isn't responding, and I'm starting to really believe he's not going to turn up today, which is a shame. But at the same time, I mean, just sort of looking around, in a weird way, I can understand why he might not necessarily feel that he fits in even here. Because, I mean, it's a very white pride, isn't it? And outside of myself and Tallulah, there's one other person of colour here. So definitely Tallulah is a minority within a minority within a minority today.
In Derby, almost 1 in 5 people are black or Asian. So if 1 in 10 people are gay, by rights, in Derby alone, there should be 5,000 homosexual men and women of colour.
It seems like there's a lot of people stopping to watch.
Yeah, there is.
What do you think they're thinking?
They're probably thinking, wow, what colourful people.
Although I spot many black and Asian faces in the crowds of shoppers, they're just here to watch, not take part. Until I spy just one other person of colour actually marching.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. One of the most interesting things I've found about today is how few Afro-Caribbean or ethnic minority people there are at Pride. Why do you think there's such a small number? Because it's literally, what, 4 people? 3 people?
I counted.
Yeah.
I counted you. But oh, there's another one, a fresh one.
So what would the West, you're West Indian, the black side of your family, right? What would that attitude be towards your sexuality?
Well, to be honest, I'm not with that part of the family, but from experience of what I've seen, I think it would be total rejection. Yeah. Totally.
Meanwhile, from the white side of your
They're
family,
a bit more tolerant, a lot more, in fact.
why is that?
I think white people are. They think they're not, but they are.
Derby Pride is now in full swing.
Let me hear you scream!
And I get talking to the Asian man I spotted earlier.
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
All right, thank you.
I'm Reg, what's your name?
I'm Wahid.
Wahid, nice to meet you. Okay, not to pry, but I take it you are a gay man yourself. Are you a Muslim gay man?
Bisexual.
Bisexual. Why do you think that you're the only Asian man here today?
People are scared to come out. I mean, even I'm here because I don't care anymore. I'm over 60. I had my life, so I don't care what people think about.
Maybe this is why Sahil and other black and Asian people have stayed away. Too much to lose, too much to fear. Whilst Derby Pride might not have been as big as I expected, there's also been no opposition. So it's almost time to leave Tallulah and prepare to head home. But not just yet. It's Sahil.
I thought you weren't coming.
Well, I'm here now.
Come here. Good to see you.
Good to
now,
see you too.
This is the first time I've ever been to a Pride event.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to one before?
I've never been to one before. This is my first time as well.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's amazing. It's absolutely like the kind of like atmosphere. Like, yeah.
Have you ever been around this many people who are out before?
Never. Like even most of my friends, like my friend circle, most of them, they're straight.
Just how comfortable do you feel in an environment like this?
I feel, I do feel very much out of place, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because, like, I don't want people to, I know people will be looking at me and be like, wait, is this guy here to blow us up? Or
No. Do you really think people
No, I mean, to be fair, I mean, how often do you see, like, a guy with a beard who looks like a proper Muslim, who is a Muslim, in, like, an LGBT pride event? Like, now I'm here with you guys, and that's fine. But alone, I wouldn't stay here very long.
Yeah. All right, come on.
Sahil is convinced everyone sees him as a Muslim first and a gay man second. But is that really true?
We're going to keep with the upbeat stuff.
Hold on, man, you're good.
The recent track. This is a dress code track.
James, nice to meet you. My name's Sahil. You can call me Sahil.
So I've just stepped away, thinking Sahil's gonna follow me out, but he stayed in there, and it looks like Sahil is having the time of his life. And I think he might have made some friends. Go on, Sahil. 1 second, I'm just gonna make this for a second. Come here, you. Like you're having the time of your life.
I am. I wasn't expecting it.
So you look like you made some new friends.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't like kind of expecting to stay here very much like after like, but.
Well, hang on a second. What, you're gonna stay?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on, but now I am. Yeah.
What, so you're gonna hang back and you're gonna have a night out in Derby?
Pretty much, yeah.
You.
Based on what you told me in the past about how you feel and how you reacted to gay people, being in an environment like this, now feeling the way you do about yourself, how are you reacting to men holding hands and men kissing?
I've had this residual homophobia in me for a long time. But now, today here, I'm not sure if I still have it, but it kind of hasn't reared its head.
Listen, enjoy your night, have fun, and get back in one piece, all right? Come on, get in there.
I'll try.
Get in there, go on.
Take care.
See you later. He's this close to running back. To experience my first ever Pride with Sahil was awesome because it was his first time at a day like this, and his journey has taken a massive leap in a positive direction, I think, today. He really is embracing who he truly is, and he is not suppressing it anymore, and that can't be anything but positive. Now, on the other hand, the negative side to today, I think, was that an event like this didn't really have many people that looked like me there. To be exact, I think it was maybe 4. It says a lot about how comfortable people like me feel to be who they truly are publicly.
50 years after women began a march for equal rights, the battle of the sexes is being fought on a new front.
The state of gender relations is at its worst probably for 100 years.
But this time, it's not by women.
Men rape. That's all we hear about, that men are rapists.
It's by young men.
Men are murdered more, commit suicide more, men are homeless more, men are raped more in prison than women are total.
I want to know why so many young guys feel overlooked.
Women are no longer trained to submit
to a man to serve a man.
Overly judged.
I think the UK, especially the media, needs to decide whether or not they want freedom of speech or they want to stop people being offended by comedy.
And under attack.
I thought there's sort of a concerted attempt to shut men up.
I want to find out why a new generation of men thinks the real victims of sex discrimination are guys.
I'm pretty confident that women's issues are being dealt with. Men's issues, not so much.
It's Sunday morning, the perfect time for a lecture by a man who teaches guys how to get more sex. Meet American blogger, Roosh V.
So what I wanted to talk about today is having sex with girls you don't really like. I probably am not going to spend more than a couple hours just to access their warm, moist cavity holes.
Roosh made his name as a so-called pickup artist, writing guides for young men on how to sleep with women around the world.
He's got a book called 30 Bangs. What? Bang Ukraine, bang Iceland, bang Poland, bang Lithuania. Don't bang Denmark. Apparently Denmark isn't worth banging.
But in 2012, a US civil rights group included Roosh on a list of websites they branded hateful and misogynistic.
British girls are busted. You know they're not that old, but they just look old, like they've been working in a factory or coal mine their entire lives.
But he hasn't let that hold him back. He's now on a world tour. Though from the sounds of it, he's expecting trouble.
He's actually kept the venues that he's doing his events at a secret up until the very last minute. According to his website, the reason is that he's worried about feminists. Is what he's doing and saying so offensive that people are going to try and shut down this event? The name of the talk is The State of Man. One of the first bullet points in terms of what his speech will contain is something about the paradox of modern women. It feels like it's a lot broader than here's how to chat up the lady that you fancy at the bar.
On the outside, it doesn't look like anyone's about to storm the doors. But inside, I'm starting to notice a real atmosphere.
Thanks.
I'm not sure anyone wants me here. We've already agreed not to show the faces of anyone who wants to remain anonymous. I'm pretty sure that this is the first time I've filmed anywhere where everyone insists on it. Roosh's topic today is the state of man. Maybe it's more controversial than I expected.
Sorry to jump in front of the queue. I just want to say thank you for having us here, man. A lot of people have turned up today to hear you speak.
The reason I came here is because the percentage of English men who read me is very large. And that is a weird thing because I'm not from here. But the problem is men are not allowed to speak the views that I am speaking. It takes an outsider to come here and not be afraid of the hate crime laws that you guys have to give the truth. And so I wish there were more men here who could share their views, but if they do, we all know that people are going to go after their jobs and shame them.
You've got all shapes and sizes in here. It is really a broad spectrum as well in terms of race and background, and it actually feels quite excitable in here. You know, there's a room full of men who are excited about what they're about to hear. So am I.
Something has happened in the past 50 years where women are no longer trained to submit to a man, to serve a man. The very idea of beauty and aesthetics is being demolished to where now women are being applauded and encouraged to look like fat, outer space cyborgs. Women and gays are seen as superior to straight men. Anything that a woman or a gay person wants is theirs. But anything you want, sorry, we cannot help you. All of you here are seen as rapists. You have to be taught how not to rape by a feminist who is really fat
Now, these aren't really the dating tips I was expecting. This is beginning to sound more like a conspiracy theory.
The bad news is that we haven't hit the bottom.
Do you think that eventually this will become a political movement? And if the answer is yes, I'd like to put in my application to work for you. That's not a joke.
I have a daughter, and sometimes I do fear for her upbringing. I think I'm doing a fairly good job. I try and set, a good moral guideline for her to follow. But what am I going to do to stop her from becoming the worst of what we see in society today?
You should give her a man to marry at a young age, 18. At least when she's 30, you have 3 or 4 grandkids. Or she's gonna be what? She's gonna work in a job, one bad boy after the next. Many of you actually are going to use her. I don't think you should give her the freedom and the choice.
Let's see, what does Reggie think about what we discussed today?
It's been a much broader talk than I expected, in all honesty. I sort of came here expecting to hear how to pick up women, but it seems to be more about masculinity more than anything else.
Now, I take it that you have achieved a level of fame here. How have you leveraged that fame to sleep with the women that you want? Like, I really want to know that. Like, is it easy? Like, do girls just come up to you?
I've been doing what I do for a long time, and I started in television when I was 8 years old, so this isn't new to me anymore.
Are you gay?
No. I'm actually engaged to be married. So no.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. That's cool.
Yeah. Out of interest, just how big do you think what it is that you're doing here will actually get?
The sites that I run touch over 1 million people every month.
Wow.
And maybe they're not willing to come here and pay, but the ideas that I share is growing and growing.
All right, follow me out, lads, please.
And then, just when I think no one will go on camera, 2 men agree to meet me outside. Adam runs his own business, and Lorenzo is studying to be a barrister.
So what is it that's actually brought you guys here today? Why have you decided to come down?
Well, what's brought me here really is I feel that there's sort of a concerted attempt to shut men up recently,
right,
the past few years, and we're sort of losing ground. The BBC doesn't have a great, it doesn't get a great flack when it comes to these sort of things at all. They do seem to be on the side of what's right on.
Yeah.
And feminism is the fashionable cause.
What sort of man is attracted to an event like today, do you think?
Somebody who wants to engage with a very international, as you can see, group of concerned fellow travellers who are interested in discussing these problems. I mean, look in here. These people are now mixing together, and very few of them have met one another before.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, whilst these guys want to meet women, and that's what Rouge sells, some of them don't seem to like them very much.
And there are some really offensive, strong views from what, on face value, seems to be the meekest of the meek, the most normal looking guys, and they have these views that are just unbelievable. The thing that worries me most is that a lot of the ideas that are coming out of that room might be more commonplace than I probably assumed this morning.
Nevertheless, many of the men I met at the seminar claim they had to hide their views and their faces for fear of repercussions at work. There is one guy whose view on this I'd really like to hear. Comedian Daniel O'Reilly built an online audience in the millions with short vines showing proper geezer dapper laughs out on the pool.
What's your name?
Carly.
Carly? Fucking she knows. Carly, you're lovely. Hey, you're lovely. I've always had a thing for lovely women. Do you want to see it? Hey!
And landed himself a mainstream TV series off the back of his success.
All the girls down the front are always the same. They start off at the beginning. Dapper! Halfway through the show, Dapper! After the show,
But Dapper's laddishness was branded sexist and even misogynistic from the start. And when it was alleged he'd made a joke about rape at a gig, Daniel found himself on Newsnight defending his entire act.
Just show her your penis. If she cries, she's playing hard to get. What you're saying is that women who say no don't mean no.
With no disrespect to you, do you think, looking at me now, that I actually would go out and do that?
Although Daniel apologised, his TV show was cancelled. But his character Dapper Laughs lives on.
The only reason I wear a condom, right, is to stop the girl getting pregnant. But I've got a couple of other tips for you. Get yourself one of them morning after pills, yeah? Crush it up, put it in her drink. I'm joking, respect women, respect women.
From the sounds of it, Daniel hasn't made any changes. And he's pretty unrepentant, despite all the flack.
Who saw me on Newsnight? Who saw that? That interview was hard for me because it's the only time I've actually really played a character. On the outside, I'm going, no, of course that's not acceptable to go up to a woman and say, get your gash out. On the inside, I'm going, can you get your fucking gash out? Hey! Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you very much for coming, bye-bye.
Get this fucking beer.
How do you think that went?
The show was great.
Yeah? And it seems as though your crowd is very much sort of predominantly young men, 25 and under.
Yeah, but I mean...
Why do you think that's the crowd that
You saw a lot of women there, though.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll get to the girls, but I mean, the mainstay of your crowd is young men. Why do you think that is?
I think just because when I started off doing the comedy, I was really trying to take the piss out of men's attitudes, like, oh, you fucking she knows, like, and a lot of people don't want to go and laugh at political satire or current affairs. Sometimes they just want to laugh at something that's easy to laugh at.
Why do you think women come to your show?
Unless you've got a cause to fight, like you're a feminist or you're against sexism, or unless you've got a cause to fight, a lot of the young girls are like, they can see I'm taking the piss out of men.
Do you think that it's the reason that what happened to you happened was because you made a joke about something as serious as rape, or do you think it happened because of your particular brand of humour?
I think it happened because I blew up outside of the conventional way of becoming.
It wasn't that one incident, it was just the speed that you got to where you were.
I was getting shit from that. Oh, sorry, I was getting stuff from them same journalists, from them same people, months before that. They were just looking for something. My family personally has been affected by sexual violence. It's not a joke, do you know what I mean? And the only reason why I quit at the time is because what the media were putting on the family. It was horrible. I always judge how well I'm doing in life by what my mum says. And my mum has not been offended by anything that I fucking put out there. Because she knows I'm taking the piss out of men. But listen, do you know what they're doing in the media now? They won't go, oh, I didn't find it funny, but I respect his audience and that he's allowed to do that brand of comedy. They will say, it's shit. I think the UK, especially the media, needs to decide whether or not they want freedom of speech or they want to stop people being offended by comedy. I think comedy is the last avenue we've got. It's comedy that, like, do you know, what's next? You're gonna ban people watching horror movies because someone's gonna go out and kill someone. If I say something on stage and someone goes out and does it, they're screwed in the head. That's got nothing to do with me.
Do you ever worry about the way that it could be taken out of context or the way that it could offend?
Yeah, it depends who's in the audience. I ain't gonna be taken out of context with my fans because my fans are watching and go, I heard the same stuff on the building site yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
That all got a bit emotional, and I can understand why. You know, this is a man who feels as though he lost his moment, his opportunity. But unfortunately, whether he wants to admit it to himself at the moment or not, he is normalising a certain level of humour that a lot of people find offensive.
Real equality feminists today have a real problem with the mainstream feminists because the mainstream feminists are radical Marxist feminists. Feminism.
Speaker's Corner in London has always been a place for people to meet and share controversial views. And today is no exception.
Men rape. That's all we hear about, that men are rapists and child abusers. This is what feminism has been talking about. Now, Have you noticed what she did then? What she did is she simplifies things down to say that I'm a woman hater.
Rod is a men's rights activist and is determined no one's going to shut him up.
Men don't need your help. They do need our help. They need our help very much. Our problem...
Well done. That got a bit intense, didn't it?
It does, but you get heckled to pieces.
Do you think coming here to Speaker's Corner week on week is going to actually change anything?
Yes, because what happens, we often see a young man standing in the background, doesn't say anything, stays for hours.
Hello everybody, my name's Josh, I'm 18, I'm from Essex. In my spare time I do a YouTube channel and a blog about gender politics and men's issues.
There's another crowd gathered around a second speaker, but there's something different here.
What is the obstacle to getting men's issues addressed in society?
He's just a teenager.
People don't know what men's issues are. Domestic violence against men is not treated seriously. When numerous places have done tests where they got women to hit men in public, people have laughed and taken videos and said, oh, he probably deserves it. And the opposite never happens. Thanks for listening.
Just out of interest, what put this on your radar? Why would you say the issues that men are dealing with is such a problem for you?
Men's issues, I feel like there are far too, particularly young voices, there are far too few. I mean, we've got the Minister for Women and Equalities here in the UK, we've got the European Parliament Committee on Women's Rights, and we've got UN Women. We have no comparative organisations for men. So I'm pretty confident that women's issues are being dealt with. Men's issues, not so much.
I hadn't expected young guys like this to be so angry about what they see as discrimination against men. Meanwhile, Rush's world tour has rumbled on to Canada, but he's run into some local opposition.
The Toronto media, Toronto Star, City News, every channel, I'm the leading newscast. Me, a random writer from the US who wants to meet with 40 guys just to have fun with them and talk to them.
But it's not just Rush. With a few clicks, I'm starting to realize these kinds of views are easy to find.
Now, this idea of what Rush is about and what he stands for seems to be a small part of a much bigger conversation, because on Rush's website there is mention of this thing that I've never heard of before, and it's called the manosphere. No, it's a real thing. The manosphere is a name given to an informal network of blogs, websites and internet commentators that focuses on issues relating to men and masculinity, often in opposition to feminism. Growing up with four sisters, you want to see them blossom, and you don't see anything that can help that as being negative. But being at Rush's seminar, the word feminism seemed to come up over and over again, and it was never presented in a positive light.
But Rush isn't the only one. British journalist Milo Yiannopoulos has written for The Telegraph, news sites, and has his face all over YouTube.
He seems to have done an incredible job of continuously arguing with journalists and politicians and feminists. He feels like someone that I need to have a chat with.
And it turns out, with a growing profile as a self-proclaimed anti-feminist, Milo is only too happy to meet with me.
Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Good to meet you too. Good to meet you too. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Listen, you are the perfect person for me to speak to at this point. I met Rush very recently.
Okay, cool.
And I've sort of been made hip to this whole idea of the manosphere. Can you sort of explain to me what the manosphere is and what it's broken up into?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very eccentric sort of group of men who feel dissatisfied with the way that society is going, the way that the relationships between men and women are organised. And I think a lot of men are feeling as though their traditional role as provider has been, diluted to such a point where they're not really sure what they're supposed to be there for anymore. And what a lot of the pickup artists, people like Rush, do for these guys is give them a renewed sense of purpose. A lot of these young boys are very worried that they will be alone forever. A lot of them are worried they won't ever get good jobs and they will never get a decent pension, and they sort of just don't know where they fit.
It kind of feels like it's two sides going against each other. You've got the manosphere and all the permutations of that, and then you've got feminism.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
What's happened to feminism in the last sort of 20 years is it's become very tied up with very far left activist politics. And this particular brand of feminism, which says that women shouldn't just be equal to men, but should be the same as men. You know, if they want sort of grow their hair and get fat than they should be allowed to, ignores basic biological realities, and it also ignores some of the things that are different about men and women and different ways that men and women look for happiness. I think that the state of gender relations, the understanding and happiness between the two sexes is at its worst probably for 100 years. And I think that you could reasonably say that feminism has a large part to play in that.
Now I find these views surprising. And I'm not a feminist, but you don't have to be one to be challenged by Milo's point of view.
And I've had messages about you prior to us meeting.
Already?
Yeah, of course.
And what are they saying?
They say this guy's going to stitch us up. I can tell he's going to stitch us up. And I can't blame them for this because it has happened to them so many times before, over and over and over again. They're just outright lied about.
Right. He's made it really clear that people are worried about me. I don't know why they're worried about me. What have I done? It's mental that, you know, I'm so early on in this journey, and already people are paranoid that I'm out to get them. There seems to be this weird sort of sense of paranoia in this world. It's frustrating to be judged before I've even begun. I want to see if I can persuade anyone from these secretive online groups to meet me face to face. They have started discussing me and what it is I'm trying to achieve online. Now, when I say discussing, what I mean is putting up video blogs on YouTube. And it's not just the one video, there's shitloads. Some of these anti-BBC videos have had thousands of views already. So maybe YouTube is the best way to try and set up a talk. This could be the worst idea ever, but I think it's worth having a crack at. Hello there, MGTOW. My name is Reggie Yates. Some of you know that, most of you probably don't. I'm in your world now. All that I want to do is make a program that features you and your beliefs, where they come from and who exactly you are. So get in touch. Thank you. I do think there is a small chance that we may have a conversation, but I think it will be on their terms. And if that means it's a Google chat, if that means that it's via the comment section, so be it. It's 2015, damn it. But whilst I wait for replies to my video, I'm still intrigued by that young guy standing on a soapbox in Hyde Park.
Welcome to Feminist Idiocy. In contrast to feminist hypocrisy, this series is simply me explaining issues that feminists talk about that are ridiculous.
Josh told the crowd to check out his videos on YouTube. So I have, and the content is far more extreme than anything he said in the park.
So the best way to discuss rape and the chances of it happening is to take the emotional element out of the question. Of course, that's why feminists are shitty at discussing rape. That was it.
What on earth is it that is inspiring someone so young to say so much? And why does he feel as strongly as he does at such a young age? At 18, I wasn't thinking like this.
We are now approaching Colchester.
Josh has agreed to meet me at his home. I want to find out what's behind his views. There he is.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good, you?
I am good also. Thank you for having me in your home.
Oh, it's okay.
Why have you got a Anfield Road sign up? Am I in a Liverpool Football Club house?
Dad's a big Liverpool fan.
Oh, get me out of here. So you live with your parents?
Yeah, mum and dad.
Okay. All right.
It's the room.
There we go. Right. Okay, what are you working on over here then?
This is the script.
A massive sort of document. Oh, so you write scripts for your videos?
Yeah, I do script them. I used to not, but then I just ramble and go off on a tangent and have to edit loads of stuff out. So that's a script for part 1 of my drunk sex series.
Josh is recording today, the latest in a series on how men can be unfairly accused of rape. All right, I need to see the studio.
Studio's probably a generous term, it's just our spare room. The people who owned this house before us had a very young daughter, so it's decorated for like a 2-year-old girl.
Oh, right, okay.
So.
Oh, you weren't joking?
No, it is.
You really aren't joking.
Mum bought that as a joke because it went with the room in a sort of funny way. That's not a serious thing.
Okay, so this is where you shoot your videos, this is it?
Basically, yeah, it's a tiny little set.
This is the chair?
That is the chair.
Can I sit in the chair?
You're welcome to sit in the chair.
Look at this. Do you not think it's crazy that, you know, you're literally sat here in your spare room with a camcorder and a bit of a script, and suddenly people all over the world have access to your points of view?
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I've got, you know, just over 2,000 subscribers watching these videos and liking what they see.
I want to see you do what you do.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Let's do it then. Can I help in any way?
No, at the moment the camera only works when it's plugged in, so I'm going to have to do that. Fit loads, come on.
So what's the theme of the video then?
Measurements of drunk sex. So what is drunk?
Just out of interest, why is this issue on your radar right now?
I read an article in, I think, Huffington Post about California's new yes means yes law.
So the basis of your think piece, if you want to call it that, have come from what exactly?
Mostly from just sort of thinking about it, really, because it's just something, a lot of the things I talk about are just things you can understand if you just think about them in more detail. Hello everybody, welcome to Drunk Sex, a treatise in 3 parts. So, let's try that one again. Hello everybody, welcome to Drunk Sex, a treatise in 3 parts. This is part 1, measurements. So, drunk sex, a lot of feminists are now saying, is rape. Think about the perils just of going on holiday. I could find a girl here in the UK, we could have sex, it's fine, she's not too drunk, she's still legally able to drive. We go to a US state with a stricter rule, and suddenly I'm a rapist. Okay, right. It also has to be something that people can be expected to keep track of.
At 18, Josh is not afraid to speak out. I'm just not sure why.
This will overwhelmingly be a burden on men. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Josh.
Boom. And just like that, it's done.
Yeah, just as my SD card ran out of memory. Perfect. I had to cut a little bit out for that.
Wow. What's really fascinating about you, Josh, is your age. You know, you are so young. And over the years, I've met activists all over the world fighting for different causes. And the thing that is consistent in all those people that I've met is that there is a reason. What is your reason?
I don't really have a satisfying answer to that question. People ask me it all the time, and it's not like I had some big life-changing experience like a lot of people do. You know, a lot of the people I speak to in the men's movement are, they went through a troubling divorce, or they were abused by a partner, or they were raped. It was never like that for me. As a living, I'd like to be, you know, a men's issues speaker, or I'd like to join a think tank that talks about these issues, something like that. This is something I want to do for the rest of my life. We've got some stuff that she was given as a present.
And is this Mum's or yours?
That's Mum's. Mine's in the sink, actually.
You can grab a seat out here. Look at this. Perfect. How do women react to your views? Particularly, well, your mum. I mean, you live at home. How does she react to some of the things that you say in your videos?
Nothing I say in my video is anti-woman, but some women do treat it as if it's an attack on women. I wouldn't talk about women's issues and feminism at all if I didn't think I needed to for men's issues. So if it wasn't the case that our domestic violence laws were heavily influenced by feminist academia, I wouldn't speak about it.
What gets picked on? What is it that they jump on?
I talk about false rape claims. I say false rape accusations are really harmful to someone's life. People have been killed by mobs without a court case ever taking place. And I try and talk about that, and they accuse me of derailing the conversation because false rape accusations are only 2%, even though we can't get an accurate study on that. It's more you're not focusing on the right issues than you're actively promoting something that's anti-women.
False rape claims are disgusting, and that's one of my worst nightmares, to be accused for a crime, serve time for something I definitely didn't do. But the fact that rape exists, and the fact that it is such an issue, and the fact that it is happening, it's happening on every street, and people aren't talking about it. It is a real issue.
Yes, but it's not like I'm hearing someone talk about how bad rape is and I'm like, oh, also false rape accusations. No, it's a complete separate thing.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of why so little of your time is dedicated to being 18. Because you're only 18 once.
I spend my time being 18, I do. This doesn't take up like half of my time. But I think I have an advantage over the men who have had their lives derailed purely because I'm not coming at it from an emotional angle, which means, because if you are emotional about something, it can lead to you being aggressive.
Josh is a really impressive speaker, but I can't help worrying that he's building opinions about how women behave based on other men's bad experiences that he's found online, before he's even had a chance to live his own life.
And there is nothing wrong with fighting for men's rights. There is nothing wrong with believing that there should be equality. But when your own personal experience with women has been hard, has been unfavorable, and that then affects the way that you view the world, to then present that as the gospel is where things get dangerous, especially when you're looking at how many young men this is beginning to affect.
But at least Josh is prepared to stand up, be counted, and meet me face to face. And other anti-feminists on the internet? Not so much. But my video has caused a reaction, and plenty of anonymous men have had their say.
Only a fool would trust this dude. Fuck off.
BBC stands for Big Black Cock. If this is what I'm receiving after literally sticking my tiny brown pinky toe into the pool that is the manosphere, what is it like for a feminist? What is it like for someone who says, I disagree with you guys? I don't know. Journalist Laurie Penny has written about both men's rights activism and sexism on the net. She's agreed to talk about the kind of response she gets when she does.
So exactly what sort of interaction have you had with these guys online?
Well, in terms of threats, I've had everything ranging from individual attacks, people sending me pictures of like gross pornography with my head pasted on, getting fisted by Hitler. I had a bomb threat sent to my house, people saying they knew where my house was, I had to leave, so did my landlord. People really want to intimidate me and anybody who writes about feminism online.
Could you show me some of the messages that you've actually received?
Yeah, well, I'm not totally happy with them showing on camera, but you can have a look at them. Yeah, I mean, people just send that sort of nonsense to me. Well, that's one of the milder ones.
Oh my God, so...
Yeah, that was last week.
Is that a picture? That's actually, they found a picture of you and pasted it onto that image?
Yeah.
Why are you specifically being targeted?
Well, it's not me specifically. It's every woman who writes about feminism on the internet to some extent. I'm absolutely not the only one. The intention is to silence people and shut them down. I think it's very ironic that these men's rights activists claim that they feel silenced when they are organising to silence women.
What is it that's motivating these men to do this? I mean, what is the problem that they have that is manifesting itself in sending these images, do you think?
There is a lot of genuine frustration behind the men's rights activist movement, and I understand the emotions that are behind that sense of powerlessness and a feeling of loss of power. The trouble is that whilst feelings are valid, it's what you do with those feelings that makes the decision about who you are as a human being.
So what's driving hate like this? And who are these people? In 2013, even a simple campaign to commemorate Jane Austen on a £10 note resulted in a barrage of vile abuse sent to female campaign leaders. Free speech is one thing, but threats of rape or worse feels different to me, and they're becoming more and more common online. I just don't get where all this hate is coming from, but I know a man who might.
How you doing?
How you doing, right?
Good to see you. Yeah, very
Milo
good.
Yiannopoulos.
I met Laurie, who is a feminist who I know that you're aware of, and Laurie has received unbelievable messages, which go from I know where you live to I'm watching you right now to I'm going to do XYZ to you tonight.
They don't believe this stuff.
scary.
It's not. Look, okay.
Oh, come on.
Listen, this is the typical bait and switch that happens with progressive activists, right? You goad people, you egg them on, you deliberately provoke them, and then suddenly you turn around and play the victim because you've got messages that you don't like the sound of. Well, I'm sorry, but you know, if your entire career is based around telling white men that there is something wrong with them, you can't then complain when you get messages on Twitter saying that, you know, that somebody wants to hurt you.
Why do you think men resort to using the word rape so often?
What the study shows that men and women use slightly different language when they lose their temper. Women tend to call each other sluts and bitches and whores and that sort of stuff. Rape as a sort of expression of power and domination is more what men go for when they lose their temper, like they might threaten to beat you up.
What does this mean for men moving
It means
forward?
for men that you can't win an argument in the public sphere unless you watch your language so carefully. When they speak out, they lose their jobs, or they get just as much trolling as as any feminist activist. But that's the dysfunctional situation we've got ourselves into, precisely because men are terrified to speak out about this stuff.
Milo seems to be saying women are just being given too much, even too much protection. But with everything I've heard and read online, I'm finding it harder than ever to see men as the victimized sex. So where does that leave someone like Rush V?
I go to the supermarket to be a pervert, to film that girl's ass and another girl's ass.
I've had to fly to Poland to find out. He just wasn't meeting the right kind of girls in America.
They cut their hair short. They are so lazy to maintain long hair that they make themselves ugly on purpose.
So he moved here a year ago, to a small university town full of female students. And before we meet, there's just time for a refresher on his back catalogue. Now, there is a lot of Roosh V books, which are available on huge websites online, by the way. Anyone can buy this stuff. And the sort of thing that is in these books is, yeah, it's not the sort of thing that I'd want my younger brother to read. It took 4 hours of foreplay and at least 30 repetitions of no, Roosh, no, until she allowed my penis to enter her vagina. No means no, until it means yes. That's actually written here. While walking to my place, I realized how drunk she was. In America, having sex with her would have been rape, since she couldn't legally give her consent. It didn't help matters that I was relatively sober, but I can't say that I cared or even hesitated. It's actually illegal to force someone to have sex in Iceland too, Roosh. I know that when it comes to sex, 1 ounce of hesitation or feeling of morality will get me nothing. That one actually leaves a nasty taste in your mouth. At his seminar, Roosh told me he has 1 million visitors a month to his sites. And one of the articles he posted there earlier this year caused horror around the world. There's a piece he's actually written on his website called How to Stop Rape. And there's a section here that reads, I thought about this problem and I'm sure I have the solution. Make rape legal if done on private property. I propose that we make the violent taking of a woman not punishable by law when done off of public grounds. Basically, you're saying if you rape someone on private grounds in a private residence, it should be okay. That is fucking disgusting. This isn't about confidence. 30 bangs isn't about making young men feel as though they have value. This is about making young women feel as though they have none. Roosh is now back from the Canadian leg of his world tour, where there was a furious reaction to his article on rape. The mayors of Montreal and Toronto tried to ban him, and he was even physically attacked in the street. Now, I'm about to meet this mammoth of the manosphere in his own home.
Hey, Reg, how's it going?
I'm very good, thank you.
I haven't seen you in a while.
It's a shoes off house, isn't it?
Yes, please, shoes
Okay,
off.
no worries.
I maintain a clean home.
It's a big old apartment you got here.
Here's the bed. One of the signs I used in the lecture,
Oh my God.
I found a way to use it here.
Oh,
You know, I mean,
really?
just-
Is that? Please tell me you put that up for my benefit. Is that normally there?
I mean, this sign I hope will stay here. Again, I know you already saw this sign in London, but I think there's another use of it that I can use here. And I work here, so all the genius that you may have come across that I've put out starts there.
What's in the kitchen?
Is
it pure muscle building foods?
Look at that. No, it's like, healthy food. We got vegetables, eggs,
Yeah.
cheeses, whole foods,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes if a girl comes over, you got to give her the supermarket champagne that
I was gonna say,
that I bought on sale.
You're really spoiling
But they don't
them,
know
Roosh.
that. They don't know that.
So how long has it been since you got back from Canada? Or the world tour?
I've only been back for about five days.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering from the drama there. They took one article I wrote called How to Stop Rape. It was a satirical thought experiment that the way to reduce rape is to encourage women to take responsibility for what they do. And I say we should legalize rape, which of course is an absurd notion. But
I've actually read that.
Yeah, but they
I've
took
read the piece. And you use the word satirical, and it's quite hard to find the satirical angle to it when you're actually reading it.
The point I'm trying to make is what would happen if we took this absurd notion and took it in a literal sense. Well, women would just take more care of themselves like they take care of their smartphone, their purse, and their car. But what the media did, they said he is a rape advocate.
I'm surprised at how indignant Roosh seems at how his rape article was taken.
My goal as a writer is to make sure that my ideas spread far and wide. So of course satire is going to be misinterpreted, but to be misinterpreted by everyone in Canada, all the media, and even the politicians who came out against me, seems to be a deliberate action of theirs to paint me as someone that I'm not.
Rouge can't seem to see himself as anything but the victim in this, despite so many people's horror at what he wrote. I'm wondering if he will take any responsibility for what he's telling young men about sex.
One of the things that really troubled me, particularly from a point of view of someone who has a younger brother who is in his teens, if he were to read that book, for instance, and read the passage, no means no until it means yes, I'd be really concerned about what that might do in his mind.
I can understand, but I don't agree that the writing I share crosses a line. I advocate for consensual sex, but we have to understand how sex actually happens. We both know that if you bring a woman into your apartment and she, with a smile, says, no, we're not going to do anything, does that actually mean no? Is that when you stop and ask her to leave? Of course, no means no. And I have to state that. Then you stop, wait until she is ready to go farther, and then you go on.
But in your book, you talk about a situation where there's a woman who's half asleep and you jammed it in, I believe is the words that you used, which is so horrible.
But haven't you done that when a girl was half asleep? A girl that you already had sex with. You've never done it? It wasn't the first time I had sex with her.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, listen, I mean, I'm sure you've had sex with girls who were on some kind of alcohol or something else. Does that mean that you raped them? Of course not. So if you want to examine every instance, every thrust, maybe you can find something, but this can happen to every man.
Rouge, thank you for having me in your home. No more articles on how to rape women.
No, I think
that?
I'm done with the rape issue.
I think you should
I
leave
think
that for
I've
now.
made the point, you know?
Yeah,
And
you made a point.
Okay, man.
£10.
Sure.
It was an issue when I was growing up, and it seems to be an issue now, and that is that young men need role models. They always have and they always will. And it just seems as though this movement is providing role models, just a different kind to the ones that I agree with. I think if you've got a man to look up to that is telling you that you'll be all right and that is showing you how to navigate this weird world, then you might just survive. But if you've got someone whose view is massively skewed and massively influenced by their own inadequacies or issues, then you're going to have some of your own. My worry is that there are a ton of young men who are desperately searching for something and are finding it in the manosphere, when in reality, what they actually need is they need a confidence boost, and they need someone to show them that you don't have to be this way to be successful in any part of your life, particularly when it comes to women.
The UK's gyms are bulging, and British men have never been bigger.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Buffer.
It doesn't even look real.
The gym is my life, effectively.
Or more bothered about body image.
It's not enough facts. So I'm just not pleased with it.
That's crazy.
So why are so many young British guys battling with their bodies?
You want six-pack, right?
Yep.
I want to find out what happens when self-improvement spirals into self-destruction.
Yeah!
For a generation in search of the ultimate six-pack.
Your testosterone's up there anyway, and then you add in steroids. I ended up going to jail for 12 months for fighting.
I mean, what's your body going to be like at 30?
I'd be lucky to get there.
If you know that, then what are you doing?
Jacked, ripped, shredded, cut. Call it what you like. Right now, muscles are huge.
The thing that seems consistent in these pictures is that there are a lot of people on this planet who spend a lot of time working out.
This kind of body once belonged to professional athletes. But these pecs and six-packs are all down to the hard graft of thousands of ordinary guys.
There's a lot of normal sort of average Joes in here in gyms that look just like the one I'm in right now,
working their arse off to achieve some sort of results. Hench has gone high street, and Instagram is inundated with solid pecs and six-packs. It's normal now to work out. It's normal now to share your results. I've just clicked on this guy's pictures here. There's a photo here of him on the building site with a hammer and no shirt on. He's got an incredible physique and he's clearly putting a lot of work in, because if it's not pictures of his six-pack, it's pictures of his diet. And he, he's really put the work in. So what does it really take to get a body like that? I'm off to find out. Welcome to Swansea, South Wales, and meet Kyle. Hello, mate. Kyle?
Reggie.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure, how are you, right?
Yeah, very good, thank you, very good.
Quite smart.
Mate, I don't know what I'm wearing. Are you dressed literally for the gym to run straight in now?
I'm always prepped for the gym, always prepped for the gym.
Why is that? I mean, is it something you don't get to do on a regular basis?
I go every day.
Every single day?
Every single day.
Carl's pictures don't lie. He is a builder, but he's found a way to make the most of every minute at work.
I find the hardest jobs on site, so I can train in work as well.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
24.
And how long has this whole obsession with fitness been a part of your life? If you don't mind me calling it obsession,
It's an obsession. I've been in the gym about 4 years. Right. I've been obsessed about 18 months.
So why this level of obsession?
I've been single for 18 months. Simple as that.
So the minute she left, you started pumping? I've brought my gym kit too, but it turns out Kyle has a little something extra. Is there like 5 different pairs of shorts in there?
No, 1 pair of shorts. And that.
And some cling film.
Cling film.
So have you got in your mind already a routine that you're going to work through for today?
Yes, I have.
Where does that cling film come into play?
You'll see. You'll see. You'll see.
This has suddenly got really ominous. Oh, so there he is. Look at that. No way. So you're going to work out with that on?
And with my t-shirt, yeah. And lose the excess water, and I just sweat it out.
You don't feel like a flipping Christmas turkey?
It feels tight, yeah. It feels tight. It feels uncomfortable.
Right. Carl said I can follow the workout he does when he wants his muscles to look most defined. I'm not expecting this to be easy.
3 or 4 miles, I'd be happy.
3 or 4 miles?
Yeah.
But he's trying to sweat out excess water, risking dehydration and even heat stroke.
It's wet. It's okay. Abs mixed in as well.
Okay.
With no break.
Wow.
Okay. Slow it down. Slower.
Yeah. Geez, you got a proper focus going, man. I mean, I don't want to talk to you to mess with your stuff, but I've never seen you look so serious in a little bit of time.
The only time I am serious is when I'm training. Most days I'm laid back and mellow. In here, it's about training, and that's it.
Please don't take this the wrong way.
No,
I
of course not.
look at you and I think, you're done. Like, I would dream to have a body like yours right now, but I don't think I'd want to push it any further than it is if I got to this point.
I gotta keep pushing. Jump in. Keep moving.
You're gonna start shouting at me in a minute.
Oh, it's warm up, so it's okay now.
This is the warm up?
Yeah.
So if this is the warm up, what are we gonna be doing when we're really going for it?
Faster. Faster and more reps.
Why would we need to go even harder? Why would we need to go faster than this?
Sweat more, lose more water, more lift.
So far, So looks obsessed. But for someone who's posting shirtless photos online, you'd think Carl would be prouder of the results of all his work. Come on, mate, look, it's completely flat. What is wrong with that?
It may be flat, but it's not good enough. It's too much water here. You know, I'm
too much water where? What, there?
See, it's not showing enough here. I'm just not pleased with it.
There's nothing wrong with trying to better yourself.
No.
But I'm just trying to understand what it is that you're seeing different to what I'm seeing
It's not enough. It's not enough cuts.
So
You know what I mean?
what do you mean by enough cuts?
You get a six-pack, right? So it's 2, 4. He's not showing enough. Number 6.
Do you think that I see something completely different to you when you look at your body?
Yeah.
What is that?
I see a shit body. You can see it being in good shape.
So if you feel shit about your body, does that mean that when you look in the mirror, you're unhappy with what you see?
Yeah.
Really, even now?
As we leave, Carl tells me he's starving. He's earned a decent lunch.
What's this exactly?
Like smoked beef, dried smoked beef.
But this is not it.
This is just lean meat.
140 calories per bag.
Do you count calories on a daily basis?
Not count as such, but what I eat. Food-wise, every day, I eat about 5-6 meals a day. But they're all low-calorie foods.
Diet is obviously very important when it comes to looking after your body, but you are micromanaging every calorie.
I'm watching, yeah. It's not a healthy obsession, is it? It's not
See, you know that.
I'm totally aware of it. Totally aware.
If you're aware, then why isn't it changing?
I can't. I like looking good. But I know I'll never be perfect.
Okay, full disclosure. I'm not about to live on tiny pieces of dried up beef, but I can understand some of what Kyle's saying. 2 weeks ago, I stepped up my own gym routine in a big way.
I'm in the gym, and the reason that I'm here is because my mate has told me I'm getting a little bit fat now, and I think he is too. So we've put ourselves on this 6-week challenge. We're challenging ourselves to lose some weight, to feel better about our bodies. The aim is to eat as clean as possible and train as much as possible, which is why I'm here sweating like a pig, because I'm determined to get to the end of this challenge and look in the mirror and be happy with what I see. I'm noticing younger and younger guys are going to the gym now, and that was never the case when I was younger. You know, when I was in school, we didn't care about that. It was just about who had the right trainers. It wasn't about who had the biggest biceps.
Sports stars, fashion lines, men's mags, it seems every 21st century male image has a perfect six-pack.
Looks like the shoot's already in full swing.
I've come to Leeds, where online clothes company Ream are holding a casting call for new models. But they're not just looking for professionals. Boss Simon wants what he calls ordinary guys off the street.
Really what we're trying to do, we're just trying to find the next sort of cut guy. If it comes across in that image that he is a little bit ripped, then it makes the clothes look a lot better.
Good, and again, good.
2 weeks into my own body blitz, this lot don't look that ordinary to me. But only 2 out of 14 guys here are actually models. And it seems muscles make money when it comes to selling clothes.
Flat on. These are full lengths, okay? So keep the movement going. Fantastic.
He could appeal to like a mass market of guys, you know, so who are everyday guys, gym goers.
So are everyday guys and gym goers the same thing now?
I think for our customer,
change the feet. You've got it. Look up.
This guy, looking at him in this picture, he looks like a fairly normal, average guy, but seeing him face to face, you can see that he's got massive pecs, he goes to the gym, he's got big arms. So would you say that this sort of model is what your consumer are aspiring towards, this sort of body shape?
Yes, so athletic.
Certainly that athletic and that shredded look, you know, so nothing too big, but shredded and defined. So they're going to have like a six-pack, or they're going to aim towards a six-pack. There's a few guys I'm quite excited to see. Luke I quite like, yeah.
The guy in the army green?
Yeah, the guy in the army green. He's a bit of a lad, so that's the way he comes across to me. I think he's got a good image, I think, yeah.
When he's not peeling off his vest, Luke works as a barber.
Luke, is that your most ripped, or are you more ripped than that sometimes? Are you like on a downer and up at the minute?
You've caught me off guard. I've been on holiday for 2 weeks. No training, eating pizza.
What did you have for breakfast today as well?
Oats and a protein shake.
Just flex your muscles maybe for me, yeah? Like you see, like this sort of when you get that sort of definition, if the garment's fitted around that, that's generally just giving a great image.
That's what you're looking for.
That's what the guy wants. You know, that's what they want.
All right, stop flexing now.
He's
giving it all of that now.
One look at Luke and it's pretty obvious he's a gym user. But it looks like he's been working a lot harder than me for years.
How much weight would you say you've put on since you started training?
Like 3 stone of lean muscle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I was like 9 stone before.
Jeez. Do you have any pictures of your old self?
Oh, Jesus, man.
And that's about 3 years of training.
Wow.
To this year now. I just wanted to be more muscular.
I haven't been to a fashion shoot where muscles have been so important. Personal trainer Ross has some of the biggest and glossiest of all.
No way. It doesn't even look real.
So yeah, but that's like 4 years of work.
You did that in 4 years?
Yeah, it's Monday to Friday gym sessions, 6 to 4, 5 times a week. It's like a full-time job. The gym is my life, effectively.
So what was your motivation to start then?
Mainly it was just because I wanted to be better in myself, and I looked up to the men's health, the six-pack, what everyone at the time calls the perfect physique.
It's obvious these guys are working hard, and I guess it's no surprise the media is playing a big part in encouraging them.
All these television shows like your Geordie Shores, all your MTV kind of shows, they're going out having a good time, they're looking good, they're getting all the attention, and I think that's a big part of it really. Lads these days are seeing that and want a little piece of it. You see changes in your body from the gym and you're getting a little bit more attention and you just want more and more of it. I think that's the reason. And then it kind of becomes a lifestyle and a habit and you're just set for life.
Thanks so much for coming. It means a lot to us and the team.
Simon has boiled down 14 wannabe models to 4.
Ashley as a good contender as one of our 4. Ashley, okay? So, Luke Gator, thank you. Jamie, and then finally we've got Ben as well for the 4.
I don't remember the last time I felt this fat. I don't remember the last time I spent this much time around a group of guys with no shirt on as well. It just seems that now, because in mainstream culture, you know, you've got someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo who looks like he's been chiseled out of marble, you've got someone like a David Beckham, and things like social media we all have in our lives on a day-to-day sort of basis. There is no way of escaping these messages that are being thrown at us. For this generation of late teens and 20-somethings, just how built you are and how masculine you are is so important. But sometimes exercise just isn't enough. Some young men are going even further for perfect abs. Like Turkey. It's an increasingly popular destination for young Brits in pursuit of the perfect body shape. I've come to a private hospital to meet Lee. Where are you from?
I'm from Leeds.
Leeds?
Yes.
What are you getting done here?
I'm getting abdominal etching.
What on earth does that mean?
It creates a modifying six-pack, so there's fat out from in between your grooves in the six-pack, and they can add fat onto it depending on what type of six-pack you like.
So basically you're having like a surgical permanent six-pack?
Yes.
How often do you actually go to the gym at this moment?
6 to 7 times a week.
6 to 7 times a week?
Yes.
Now, this might sound a little weird, I'm not blowing smoke here, but you actually look like you're in absolutely fine physical shape. Why are you doing this?
Because I'd like it more defined, and I'd like to be able to put more size on as well. I honestly feel, being brought up in the 80s with the wrestling, you know, with the wrestling figures, you always picture a man with muscles and six-pack, and that's the way that my image we're always brought up. So that is my perception of an ideal man.
When you were, I don't know, when you first started at the gym and you first started working out, did you ever think that you'd end up here?
No, I really didn't,
Lee's after something even 6 days a week at the gym can't give him. So he's spending £3,500 to get action figure abs. It's his first ever major operation.
How are you feeling at this stage? You feeling nervous yet?
I am, yeah. Yeah, very nervous.
You don't look it at all.
Well, I tried to keep it in really, but no, it's...
Yeah. I don't know, I'm just really struggling to understand why you're going to put yourself through this, because you're in good shape.
Well, thank you for a start, but no, I don't see that. Like I said, there's...
What do you see?
I see there's certain areas that need developing.
What are those areas?
Well, definitely my stomach and my arms need to be bigger.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We will take you to the operation room in, I think, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Come, please.
Right. No worries.
The operation Lee's having is still rare, but this hospital has seen 7 British guys in the last 6 months. Funny thing is, you need to be in good shape to have it in the first place. Patients won't normally be considered if they have more than 2 centimeters of fat.
So, you want deep lines?
Deep lines.
Six-pack, right?
Yep.
Here. This is only one part, okay? And you want some defining
Yes.
here,
Yes.
right?
What little fat Lee does have will be melted using ultrasound and then strategically sucked out to accentuate his muscles.
With a procedure like this then, just how risky is it?
I think the main risk is asymmetries. We will have some swellings, some bruisings for nearly 1 month, I think, maximum. He will need a corset. We will put a corset on him for 2 months after the operation. I think
2 months of wearing a corset?
Yes, but he can take it off. He can wear his shirt on it.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing. After that, we can, I think, only have some skin retractions that we don't want, or small asymmetries that we don't like. If you have any problem, we will talk with him again also.
Lee's gone down now, and I'm still trying to work out whether he's got the right idea or I have. He doesn't need to do another sit-up again, ever. Imagine that. Choosing to have an operation of this scale, I don't know.
Lee will be under general anaesthetic for 2.5 hours.
So are you completely finished now? Is this done?
We just finished.
Brilliant. You can already see that it's a lot flatter and there's a lot less sort of fat on the sides here, and the definition really is showing. I was sort of in there watching them work on his abs, and I was touching mine and I was checking my body fat, and I don't know if it made me more paranoid about what I've got to shift, but it definitely made me think about what I'm doing. I do know that he's going to wake up and be very bloody happy. If not, he's a hard man to please. Because that was incredible what they did there.
But it turns out that Lee's just a beginner in the surgery stakes. Back in London, I'm about to meet a man who's an expert.
There he is, finally.
Hey,
Rigo.
hello there.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to
nice
finally meet you.
Yeah, make yourself comfortable, please. Come in.
32-year-old Rodrigo is a flight attendant who's always dreamed of living a glamorous life. 35 cosmetic procedures later, he says he's finally achieved his goal.
You nearly done in there, Rodrigo.
And he's agreed to talk to me about them while he waits for a massage.
Look at you! That's like the world's most flamboyant robe I think I've ever seen.
There's a hood as well.
I can't avoid this. This is incredibly impressive.
Well, this is all plastic surgery.
Do you know how hard I'm working to achieve that right now? Do you know the amount of sit-ups I'm doing?
Let's compare.
No, I'm not going to compare. It's just the most depressing thing in the world. And your chest looks pretty impressive as well. Now, please tell me...
I'm going to get there.
You've done something to your chest. What have you done to your chest?
Well, I have silicone implants. Look.
That's silicone?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I have to get them done again.
I'm absolutely bamboozled by what you've achieved through surgery, because that is the body that so many guys are fighting to achieve. And what you've done is you've basically found a loophole. You found a way to achieve it without the work.
Yeah, I reinvented myself throughout plastic surgery.
Can you talk me through what you've actually had done?
I have fillers in my biceps.
Fillers?
Fillers. They're like They're like silicone fillers, yeah. Okay. They're fillers in my biceps, triceps, and shoulders, and also have silicone implant in my chest. Lipo in my back, in my waist, obviously my abs.
How much would you say you spent on all the work that you've done?
210k.
£210,000?
That's correct, yes.
On surgery alone?
Yes, on surgery alone. People, they like an image. People like what is beautiful, and some people, they are born blessed with natural beauty. I wasn't born this way. I made myself this way in order to be accepted by society.
Cosmetic surgery has risks, like any medical procedure. And Rodrigo himself suffered a serious infection after having fillers injected into his arms. But he's still adamant it's been right for him.
Is that you?
It is me.
I don't see anything wrong with this guy. I mean, what is it about this guy that you wanted to change so much?
This guy is just crossing his arms like that because he's covering his boobs. On all my photos, if I was wearing a t-shirt, I'd always be covering myself.
What do you think when you see a picture of yourself looking like this?
I feel sorry. I feel sorry for myself. I feel sorry for myself that I wasn't blessed with natural beauty, and then I had to go through everything that I did, all the pain, time and money, in order to reinvent myself to become a happier person, because I wasn't happy at all, and then I just couldn't accept myself in that way.
Looking at all of these images, I can really see just how much of a journey that you've been on in creating this new version of yourself.
I'm satisfied. I'm happy. I love myself. I'm everything that I've always wanted to be in my life.
Rodrigo has his way of changing his body. I'm 4 weeks into mine, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough.
My routine has changed, my diet has changed, and the fact that I'm here on a regular basis is a bit weird.
But at least I'm doing it for the right reasons, I think.
I have to really watch myself when it comes to what it is that I'm doing and how I'm feeling with the gym and with my results, because I have an addictive personality. I'm the sort of person that if I love something and if I get into it, I will use and reuse and overuse it until it's dead.
All of us who train hard are pushing for something, but it's a fine line between controlling the results and the results controlling us. When I met Kyle, he admitted he's striving for perfection. But what does that look like? Back in Wales, I've joined him at a second gym to try and find out what will satisfy him.
We'll go to sevens. We'll go some sevens. We'll have one each because my hands are full.
Yeah, I've got that for you.
And we'll crack on.
The punishing regime is the same, at least at first glance. The cling film's back, but there's more. Now he's going to lift weights in 82-degree heat.
You're about to do another workout, but in the sauna.
It'll be my third session of today.
And these are going in there with you?
I would train with them and do push-ups in there as well, yeah.
Mate.
I just want the perfect body. Or close enough to perfect as I can get.
But please don't take this the wrong way.
No.
This isn't fitness. No. This is something else. This is punishing your body.
Yeah,
this is pushing your body.
Put my body in places it shouldn't be. A body wasn't built for this. A body wasn't built for this. To do that, it is not built for it.
What you're doing is so.
It's dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
It is.
Surely you've got to understand that you can't keep doing this. How old are you? Is it 26?
24.
24? Mm. I mean, what's your body going to be like at 30?
I'd be lucky to get there. That's it, really.
Carl was already risking heat stroke, and now he's ramping up the degrees. This is crazy.
Knowing that Kyle is aware of what he's doing to himself, and knowing that he knows that he could potentially kill himself with this kind of behaviour, I mean, I chuckle because it's so bloody ridiculous. Why would you knowingly do this to yourself? I don't know, you know, you sort of hear body dysmorphia thrown around so much when it comes to young girls and it comes to
young women desperately wanting to be the perfect figure. But, I mean, what's to say that he doesn't have that? He is an addict for the results, and he's addicted to being better. What's the difference between that and being addicted to something like a Class A drug? Because you know it's bad for you, but you keep doing it. And this kid could kill himself if he keeps going this way. By 30, is he still gonna be alive? So why do you keep doing it?
Pressure, I suppose.
From who?
Just general, like, he has abs. Just the general pressure of our friends or just acquaintances from work.
Why does their opinion of you matter so much?
Because I was really shy before. So now I got this body and these abs and this shape. I seem to have more people around me, type of thing. But before I was 15, 16, I didn't have many friends. But now I got all these friends. Because I'm obsessed with the gym, I do fitness. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Incredibly, after everything Carl's put his body through, tonight he's working a second job. He's told me to head for a bar in town, but apparently Carl's not pulling pints tonight.
The one, the only, Mr. Cowboy.
Yeah, when he's not on a building site, women pay Carl to take off his clothes. So of course, his body matters. While Carl's busy, I want another view on whether this look is really worth all the trouble.
What is it about the boys that you want to see tonight? I mean, are you looking for guys that have that kind of chiseled body? Is that what you're after? Or do you not care?
I don't know, it's a bit shallow, but it does make you more attracted to someone if they work out.
To achieve the bodies that these guys have got, the reality is that they're probably having to go to the gym 5, 6, maybe 7 times a week. So you'd be all right with that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go out with someone who doesn't go to the gym.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever dated anyone that looks like one of the strippers then? No?
I have, but he was too high maintenance.
What do you mean it was high maintenance? What was wrong with him?
I think, you know, we all look after ourselves, don't we? There's an extent you've got to go to. You can't go too far and be more interested in yourself than your partner.
Sounds like they're less sold on the lifestyle, but it's high fives all round for the six-pack.
Ladies, can we give our cowboy one massive yeehaw?
And Carl's been getting some very positive feedback too. So could this be what it's all for?
How much of tonight is actually about the crowd? Why don't you care what they think? They're screaming for you. That girl was just licking your chest.
The attention I want from you, from last year.
What kind of attention do you get from these guys?
Please. Female, does it go to gym? And you don't understand it. You go to the gym, but then it's not. And then it's not. Yeah, let's do
So weird to think that he's taking his clothes off for women, but he ain't even thinking about. His body is something that he's working on continuously. He's thinking about continuously. And if he gets a pat on the back from a girl, doesn't matter. If he gets a pat on the back from a bodybuilder, then he's achieved something.
It's been 10 days since I met Lee in Istanbul for his operation. I'm fascinated to see the results. But I also want to find out how his body obsession has impacted on his life. Hello, Lee.
Hello, Reggie. How are you?
How are you, mate? I'm good. How are you, more importantly?
I'm good. I'm a little sore, but I'm getting better.
Can you show me your new six-pack?
I can do, yes.
Go on, then. Look at that.
Right,
I can already see it, mate. Whoa.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
And the stomach, it's starting to settle into shape.
Yeah, are you happy with the results?
I'm happy, yes. I mean, obviously they're going to get progressively better, but yeah, I'm happy with what I see so far.
I can only imagine the pain post-operation. What's it actually been like living with that?
For the first couple of days, I was bedbound. It was very difficult getting in and out of bed. Since then, I've managed to go to the gym once. I've had a little bit of a...
You've already been to the gym?
Yes, I've been on a cross trainer.
Are you allowed to go to the gym this close after surgery? This soon after surgery?
Not to. They said keep it within reason.
You've had an operation. It's all right to take a week off. Surely you can see that.
I suppose so, but I've always got something in the back of my mind saying, I need to go to the gym. I haven't been. Again, it's obviously in my mind.
Do you think that the amount of time that you've actually spent working out has affected your relationships?
It affected my past relationship, yes.
In what way?
We ended up splitting up. I've got 2 children to her, and we ended up splitting up due to my commitment to the gym. It's my solace really is the gym. Some people turn to drink. I go to the gym. That's my free time really.
Mm. Well, I mean, the things that you've mentioned, drink and drugs, they have massive addictive qualities. Do you think that the gym can be as addictive and potentially as dangerous?
Maybe not as dangerous, but I think most certainly as addictive, yes.
If you didn't have the body that you have now, how would you feel about yourself?
I wouldn't have the confidence. I'd probably be a lot more shyer. I wouldn't be as happy that I am. I do feel that I'd be a different person.
Yeah. All right, look, lovely talking to you, man. Thank you so much. Take care, all right? Bye-bye. Wow. I think I've taken for granted just how much body image is an issue for young men now, because things were eternally different 10 years ago when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, How long is it before every third kid is doing what Lee's doing? For not that much money, you can have perfect abs for life. All you have to do is fly to Turkey and have a little operation, and that's it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I just don't know how much I'd encourage that when it comes to my 14-year-old little brother and his mates. But when it comes to artificial intervention, there's a darker phenomenon on our streets. Steroids. Most commonly anabolic steroids, a synthetic form of testosterone taken to increase stamina and build muscles. They're legal for personal use, whether they're injected or taken as tablets. But experts warn they're a ticking time bomb.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, it's Reggie.
Hi.
I've come to Turning Point in London. They're a charity offering a clean, safe needle exchange mainly for heroin and crack users. But 3 years ago, they added a drop-in for steroid users too.
Hello?
Hi, Reggie.
Hi, how you
Hi,
doing?
I'm Roy. Nice
Hello,
to meet
Roy.
you.
Nice to meet you. So you run this place?
I do, yeah. I run Smart Muscle here on a Wednesday night.
And team leader Roy Jones has seen a change in who walks in.
But what sort of people are coming through the door here?
It used to be guys in their late 30s, people who've been bodybuilding for a number of years, but now it's guys about 22, 23. What's more concerning is I get people coming here who haven't actually been to the gym at all, and they're wanting to take the drugs to get the body without actually putting in the work.
It's estimated there could now be more than 500,000 steroid users in the UK. But most of the ones Roy sees don't understand the basics.
I would say probably about 10% of them know how to inject and get it completely correct. There are always errors they're making, and sometimes guys think that by injecting into their chest or their arms, etc., that those areas are going to grow bigger because they're doing it locally. So that's the size of it, basically. So for intramuscular injection, they're wanting it to go about 2/3 of the length into the muscle. So you can see you need to do that in the right place. Otherwise...
Oh, that's so grim.
Yeah, and it needs to be done like a dart to get it to go in deep.
Jeez, let's have a look. That's massive. That's horrible.
The thing is, though, what happens is then you end up on a hormonal roller coaster. Your testicles will shrink because you're not producing testosterone anymore because you've got such high levels of synthetic testosterone in your body. Your brain says, whoa, too much, shuts them down. And sometimes if you get the wrong combination of steroids, your sex drive is completely gone. And also steroids can make your blood thicker and affect your cholesterol levels. So long term, it can have an effect on your cardiovascular or, heart, basically. It's become part of male grooming, almost acceptable for them to be injecting these drugs because they're enhancing themselves, basically. If it's in aid of getting you to be buff, then it's more acceptable.
This is news to me. Until now, I thought only competitive bodybuilders use steroids. And it looks like this gym in Huddersfield could have had issues in the past.
Have a look at that. This sign's in the toilet as well. This stuff, zero tolerance policy. Anyone found using needles on our premises.
But I can't help wondering what the old school guys think of the steroid craze.
Look at his arms.
Meet Dave Crosland, aka The Freak.
Done, mate. I was about to do that with one arm. Hello, fella. You all right?
Not bad.
You're bleeding on your head.
Ah, don't worry about it.
What's caused that then?
Blood pressure.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So what? You've pushed so hard that you got.
I've given myself a brain aneurysm before now.
How long have you been doing this for?
I started when I was 19.
And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
44 next month.
And have you ever stopped
Yeah,
being in the gym?
I took 12 years off.
Why?
Tore my left pectoral clean off.
Tore it off?
Yeah.
You tore your whole pec off?
Yeah, that side's torn out. That's why there's a big hole there.
Oh, my God.
As a champion bodybuilder, Dave has used steroids many times, but now he's also a counsellor teaching about their safety.
I'm not pro-use. I'm not against use. I'm pro-education. They aren't the demon that they're made out to be, but that doesn't mean they're safe either.
Why do you think it's so widespread then? What is it that's making it so popular?
Social media. Males have never had to deal with image issues. It's always been a women's problem. We've never had to worry about whether our makeup was right or our hair was right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, social media comes along and people aren't getting a true representation because there's Photoshop and there's all these filters. It's like, well, everyone else looks good and I look crap. Males have got pressure about body image and we don't know how to cope with it. They're searching for an identity and they look for that through body image. So, well, I want to be male, I want to be more male, which means I need to have muscles.
Yeah. And that is affecting men as young as what?
I think you really start to see people looking and considering at 15 and 16.
That young?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you, and that definitely wasn't the case when I was at school.
No, and it wasn't the case when I was at school, but that's what I'm seeing now.
I'm finding it hard to understand steroid use, but up until now, I haven't met someone who is currently using.
Yoba! Pull. Drive! Pull, come on! Pull. This is Craig.
How's it going?
All right. Dave was telling me a bit about your sort of history.
I started training at 9 years old. I was
Training at 9?
Yeah, at 9.
So what age did you start using?
19.
Right.
At that time I was in the army, you know, so at that age your testosterone's up there anyway. And you're trained to be a soldier, trained to be a killer, and then you add in steroids, you know, making your testosterone go through the roof. You know, so sometimes you can get into situations where you wouldn't normally react in a certain way, where now you blow your top.
So what were you doing? What would you?
I ended up going to jail for 12 months for fighting. Yeah.
So what's different now, and why are you still using?
Now,
Why do you still think it's a good idea to use after everything you've been through?
It's addictive. It really is. You know, once you feel like Superman, you don't want to go back to being average Joe, do you?
Given how dangerous steroids sound, It's hard to believe how easy it is to actually get hold of them.
Steroids.
Pages and pages. I'll tell you what, go back up. Let's click the first link. Let's have a look at that.
So
12 quid.
£12.50 for a box of 3 1ml ampoules.
That's cheaper than protein powder at like a high street shop.
They're not overly expensive.
They really aren't. Jeez. The truth is, I've never really entertained anything that is deemed as being potentially dangerous in that way. You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink. When all my friends started taking drugs in our late teens and early 20s, I never really did. And to me, steroids were never something that I ever really even gave a second thought to, because I wasn't in the gym, number one. And number two, it was this big, weird, scary, unknown entity that only existed within the realms of really serious bodybuilders. That taboo would have been smashed for me if I was a teenager now, in this day and age, because the information is there.
And the pressure to use them is all around.
It's a different time now. And if you want to do something like steroids and you're only 19, you can do it all from the comfort of your own smartphone.
But while steroids are legal to possess for personal use, it's against the law to sell or supply them. So it's hard to understand how there can be so many sites online selling roids. We've made contact with an underground lab operating in the West Midlands and producing illegal steroids for the growing UK market. And they've agreed to meet.
So what's the sitch with our fixer? Is he here?
We got away for a phone call from a few people, yeah. So he's waiting and then he's going to phone us.
Okay. I think whenever you meet people who are operating outside of the law and are essentially paying their bills by doing something illegal, you have to ask yourself the question, just how much do they care about what it is that they're producing, and how much do they care about the people that are using their product? It's him now. Hello? It's Reggie, yeah, how you doing? Hello, mate. Okay. So you're just outside the hotel now? All right, bye, mate. You all right? Nice to meet you. How's it going?
It's okay. It's okay. We're just going to take you to the next stage now.
Okay, mate.
No one knows how many underground labs are operating in the UK, but 3 have been shut down this year alone.
Reg?
Hello, mate.
This is the second stage. I'm just going to make a quick call.
Okay. Would you say that you're paranoid?
They are.
Is that down to rival cooks? I mean, what's the reason for that?
It's the law.
If caught, these self-styled chemists could get up to 14 years. I'm not sure what I was expecting after all that secrecy, but it wasn't this. A suburban double garage.
Yeah, thanks. Hello. How you doing? Reggie, nice to meet you.
And a job lot of plastic sheets.
Is that an name, mate? Boom. Reg, you're right, nice to meet you. I was expecting something a little bit bigger.
We've got enough here to do what we're doing today, but we can have 3 times as much of this going to do what we're doing on the day, you know?
Right.
This lockup's a long way from the sterile conditions you'd expect in a licensed pharmaceutical lab. But the guys have agreed I can watch them prepare a batch tonight that their customers could be injecting tomorrow.
This stuff here, basically, is basically to help break down the hormones in the testosterone, so helping it filter into your body, help it go into your system.
I'm no chemist, but even to me, this looks like child's play.
Is that literally it?
It's as simple as that.
But these guys are making serious money.
How much is this actually worth?
That now, if you're selling that to someone in the gym, you could turn it into £1,000.
How big is your customer base?
Over 50,000. Different people, more.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of people using it as well.
We don't really deal with customers as such. We've got one person who controls the Facebook page.
No, you're selling this through Facebook?
Facebook, forums online.
When it comes to something like injectables,
it's really easy to mess up, particularly if you don't know what you're doing, and there are a lot of side effects. Just how responsible do you feel when it comes to people using what you produce?
I feel responsible of making it safe, sterile. You don't get a needle and shove it in your leg, in your ass, wherever you put it, without, you know, looking into it a bit personally. But, you know, if they do, that's their own fault.
Once it leaves your door, there is no way of knowing what happens. If it does get cut, if it does get changed or tweaked, or something happens to it, or it's sold to someone who is vulnerable, you're essentially part of the process. Even if you're not hoping to hurt anyone, you're part of it.
In our head, when this goes out, I know it's sterile, I know I put the right stuff in it, so I trust it, you know. Obviously what we're doing isn't legal, but I won't class myself as a criminal. That's just a helping hand, you know. People are feeling unhappy with the way they look, you know, so...
So you're saying there's no responsibility on your shoulders then?
Personally, I don't... No, I don't think so.
When it comes to responsibility, their moral point of view, I don't think I particularly agree with. They justify it by saying that, you know, so long as the person taking it understands that they're responsible, I'm not responsible. And I think that's quite a naive way to look at it, because at the end of the day, you're part of the chain. And if you're part of the chain, you're part of the problem. For one family, that chain linked to tragic consequences.
Hello.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi, how are you doing?
Reggie,
Hey,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Come on in. Would you like a drink?
Yes, please. Can I
Right.
get a brew on?
Yep,
Have I come in the middle of dinner?
you have.
Yeah?
You have.
How many are you cooking for tonight?
I'm not cooking, it's my daughter, she's cooking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, how many kids do you actually have?
Including Oliver, 3.
Ollie Cooney began working out at 16, and his mum Sarah watched the changes in her son.
Oh yeah, cheers, thank you. He used to come home from gym, he used to wear him, he used to walk through the door.
Yeah.
The first thing he'd say is, Mum, take my t-shirt off for me, because it was that big. He couldn't take it off. I'd go, Mummy, he's standing, go, Mummy. So I'd take his turn and just chuck it in his face, and then he'd ring me before he came home from gym, get me chicken on, Mum. So everything was ready when he came home.
Yeah. So were the family a massive part of his nutrition as well as training
Oh
then?
gosh, yeah, it was.
And it pretty much took over his life?
Yeah, it did.
By 18, Ollie was using the gym 6 days a week. To increase his bulk, he also decided to take steroids.
Was he open with you about taking
Very open. It's so honest with me, it was unbelievable.
And what was your initial reaction when he told you that you'd started taking
I was mortified. I was absolutely mortified. We didn't talk for 2 weeks.
So where did it come from? Why was it on his radar?
I honestly think that Oliver had an issue with his height, because he was only small. He was smaller than me, and I'm 5'4". Everybody used to call him Little Ol. And he didn't want to be Little Ol. What he lacked in size, in height, he made out in width. And I think he did it for him. I think he did it for extra confidence, for himself. You tend to just kind of put that to the back of your head. He's going to gym, he's lifting weights. He's not going out every weekend, getting drunk. That's how I saw it. He was just going to the gym and trying to keep fit. I didn't see it as a problem until he had his first heart attack. Oh. Whew.
It's okay.
Ollie was at the gym when he started having chest pains. He later collapsed. Incredibly, just a month later, he was working out again. On doctor's advice, Ollie had stopped taking steroids, but the damage to his heart was done. 3 months later, he had a series of strokes.
To walk on the ward and look at your own son, and his face is all slanted down at left side and he couldn't talk. He had to go to the toilet in a wheelchair, he had to be helped with nurses. He couldn't eat his food, had to be chopped up. He had 12 weeks of intensive physiotherapy to learn him how to walk.
Did he recover from that, from the stroke?
Fully.
Did he get back to full
Fully.
health? Well, with that being the case, how long was it before he went back to the gym?
I went back, he wanted to go back, I think it was about 10 days after.
10 days?
Yeah.
In September 2013, Ollie suffered a second major heart attack and died. He was just 20.
It was definitely the steroids, it's on his death certificate.
What does it actually say?
Misuse of Class C. Drugs.
Did you ever think that your boy would ever be connected to anything that's classed as a drug?
No. I didn't expect to get a death certificate, to be honest with you. I feel mad. I feel angry. The fact that what he's done to himself, but he's not just done it to himself, he's done it to us, but I don't think he actually meant to do this. I really don't think he meant to do this at all.
There's one person on my mind.
There he is. How you doing?
Kyle and I haven't talked about steroids, but his obsession to look good is nagging at me.
Now, I don't want to scare you or anything, but I spent some time with a lady called Sarah, whose son, Ollie, died off the back of steroid use. And his obsessive sort of diet, his obsessive working out, isn't that dissimilar to yours? So have you ever used steroids? Really, honestly?
Yeah. Yeah. Inject my shoulders, my legs, and my bum.
And are you still doing it?
No.
Have you tried the tablets?
Yeah.
Are you doing tablets now?
To strip the fat. Strip the water.
So what kind of tablets are they?
The Clenbuterol. They're for people who have chest pains and for their asthma, and they're for animals as well. For cows,
animals?
Cows and horses, yeah.
Have you taken any today? I mean, have you got any in that big bag?
I have, yeah. I have.
You have?
I have, yeah. There we are.
Kyle. What kind of side effects do you get off the back of using something like this?
Insane cramping. When my whole leg cramps up, my hip goes, and I'm like this, I can't move for about 10 minutes.
Do you know how much I want to throw these away right now? After this chat, are you going to keep using these?
I think after this experience, no, I'm not.
Why?
Getting a different perspective from different people, that was made me think more about it, more about this. The effects doing to me, because my mother's preached to me for a while. I have friends and family preaching at me. But having different, as I know outside to speak to me about it, it does give me a bit more, well, maybe I shouldn't do these things type of thing, you know?
You've kept saying the entire time that I've been with you that you want perfection and you want your body to be better.
But I want it to last until I'm 30 as well. I want to see my 30th.
I'm so glad you've said that.
It's okay, it's only, you know, it's 6 years, but it's not long. It's not long.
Listen, look after yourself. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to post these back.
Oh, no, it's been take care, Reggie.
The problem that I'm seeing with what's going on now is that there are more and more people that are searching and pushing for this body image, this idea of perfection. And I just really hope that that changes. And that the reason that these young guys are eating clean and getting fit is not because of something they've seen in a magazine. I've come to the end of my own journey. But while the 6 weeks may be over, after everything I've seen and heard, I reckon the greatest challenge could be keeping control of all of this. You know, I was in a gym with Kyle, and Kyle took his shirt off and he told me to take mine off, and I didn't want to because I was really self-conscious about how I looked in that moment, and it's only when I think about it now that I realise how affected I am, just like everyone else, by body image and by what other people think about us.